Become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month. And ask about a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got NewGenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of NewGenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of NewGenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
Feel like it?
1 minute.
I doubt. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on Earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit.
Here we go.
9393. That's 800-384-9393.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Howdy there, all your Monday dwellers. Oh, man. Believe it or not, there's other news going on. But it's a happy day. You can't deny it. You gotta give the man credit because he deserves it. I ain't taking no crap from any of you folks out there. You know who you are. Just enjoy with the rest of us. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again today. Please just celebrate with us. There's nothing to be mad about. We should be overwhelmed with joy and jubilation. Hostages are returned. Families reunited. People are home. We still got to recover those who have died. But it is a big day. It's all anyone can talk about. And I love the fact that it has been relatively quiet. You got a couple of people here and there and everywhere. Can't even sit still without making themselves the story. You know the usual ones. Mr. Murphy, Mr. Himes, the usual folks. But that's not important. It isn't. I don't want to focus on them today. I want to focus on some news. We're going to get into that. We're not going to do the whole show about the hostages being freed and about the peace deal, which of course is important. Let's not do it. Let's give it what it's due. But I do kind of have to do this opening monologue because it's necessary. And it's sort of in two parts. The first part is maybe Trump was right about everything. And maybe he is. It's a question worth asking. A lot of people say, no, Reese, he's not. Okay. We'll put that to the test today. And the second part of our opening monologue is political will versus political won't. And let me begin because this opening monologue is long. And I've got to get to it if I'm going to get to every facet of it. It comes with 42 points. I don't have a lot of time. So bear with me. Indulge me, if you will. In 2020, Donald Trump said that COVID-19 originated from the Wuhan lab leak. The media claimed, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, MSNBC, labeled it as debunked conspiracy theory and a xenophobic smear, with experts like Dr. Fauci and the World Health Organization dismissing it. CNN's Jeffrey Toobin mocked it on air. The truth? U.S. intelligence assessed the lab leak was plausible and or likely. The FBI deemed it the most probable origin. No natural zoonotic evidence was ever found. Trump said the Hunter Biden laptop was real and contained evidence of foreign deals. CNN, MSNBC, NPR, and the Washington Post called it Russian disinformation. You all know that 51 intelligence officials wrote a letter, claimed that it was a Russian plant. Social media suppressed the New York Post story. The truth was, according to the New York Times, the Washington Post, they authenticated the emails in the Hunter Biden laptop and $8 million in Chinese money. The FBI had the laptop since 2019 and confirmed it was authentic. CNN's Jake Tapper admitted in 2023, Trump was right and Biden was wrong. The Obama administration was accused by Trump for spying on his campaign. CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post called it a baseless lie and McCarthyism. Fact checkers rated it false. In the 2019 IG report, they confirmed that FISA warrants on Carter Page, a Trump advisor, relied on flawed Steele dossier. Attorney General Barr at the time said spying did occur, and a Nunes memo detailed the improper surveillance. Donald Trump told us that schools should be open during the COVID-19 pandemic because it was safe. CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times portrayed it as reckless endangerment. Biden and Democrats opposed it, citing science. Coverage tied to Trump's normalcy denial. CDC revealed in 2021 that it showed minimal transmission in schools. The New York Times op-ed in 2020 admitted that Trump was right and Democrats were wrong, noting remote learning's devastated far more low-income kids than any others. Donald Trump said that China was exploiting U.S. trade and the economy. CNN, Washington Post, and experts, including Joe Biden in 2019, dismissed it as protectionist fear-mongering. New York Times called the tariff economic malpractice. Well, U.S. trade reports revealed and confirmed $300 billion plus in annual IP theft. Phase 1 deal forced concessions. Biden continued the tariffs, admitting China's threat, and therefore admitting Trump was right. U.S. energy independence would weaken Russia and Iran, Trump said.
We are living legends.
Sorry, I don't know what that is. My apologies. My apologies for that. U.S. energy independence would weaken Russia and Iran, Trump claimed. MSNBC and the New York Times mocked it as climate denial. Experts predicted shortages, not dominance. The truth was, U.S. became the net exporter in 2019. Prices fell to $40 a barrel, bankrupting Iran's proxies. Biden's policies reversed the gains, and spikes went up to $100 a barrel. And it ended up funding Russia's Ukraine war. Iran's nuclear deal was a bad agreement, Trump said. CNN, the Washington Post, and Obama officials decried it as reckless. Experts warned of war risk. The truth? IAEA confirmed Iran violated limits of the post-deal. And Trump's sanctions and maximum pressure left Iran broke. Biden's revival tanked and failed amid Iran's advances. They ended up becoming closer to a nuclear weapon. NATO allies were freeloading on U.S. defense spending. MSNBC and the BBC called it bullying allies. Experts said that it was impossible to get our European NATO allies to put more money into the till. After Trump threatened them, spending rose to $130 billion. 23 of 32 allies hit 2% by 2024. Allies admitted that the resources always existed.
Seriously, ask anything.
I'm sorry.
Anytime.
I don't even know
Whether
what that
it's a
is.
quick question
That is
or
my
ongoing
fault.
care.
I got it. That's my fault. I got to fix that. What else am I on? I'm sorry. The Abraham Accords. You might remember these. The Washington Post and CNN dismissed it as smoke and mirrors. Experts even said that it was impossible to achieve. Of course, we know in 2020 the Accords normalized ties with the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and others. It was the first in 26 years. Even Biden hailed it as a breakthrough. The prolonged Iraq and Afghanistan wars were mistakes, Trump claimed. Media dismissed it. The New York Times backed the wars. Trump's 2019 pullout threats called an abandonment. But after $8 trillion of loss and after 900,000 deaths, Biden ended up withdrawing in 2021, didn't he? And he echoed Trump's critique while he was trying to get those troops out. Venezuelan migrants included gang members and criminals. CNN and MSNBC called it racist fear-mongering. They even fact-checked his claims as being false. We all know how that turned out. The border crisis was worsened without strict enforcement, Donald Trump told us. CNN, MSNBC, and the Washington Post labeled that as racist fear-mongering and exaggerated. Biden allies denied a crisis existed pre-2021. You know I don't need to tell you the rest. Trump was right. Inflation would spike under Biden's spending policies. MSNBC and the Washington Post dismissed this as partisan nonsense. Even economists like Paul Krugman said inflation fears were hysterical. The truth was, inflation ended up hitting 9.1 in 2022, the highest in 40 years, proving Trump to be right again. Ukraine aid would fuel corruption and would be wasted, Trump told us. CNN and the New York Times framed it as extortion for political gain. Fact checks called the corruption concerns a pretext. It turns out in 2025, in a Zelensky interview, he said half of the $350 billion in aid was unaccounted for. Reports confirmed widespread graft with billions of dollars diverted. WHO, the World Health Organization, was biased towards China. That's what Trump claimed. The BBC and CNN ridiculed it as conspiracy mongering. The WHO defended itself as neutral, and fact checks called the claims baseless. But investigations confirmed the WHO delayed pandemic declaration, echoed CCP on origins despite evidence. U.S. pulled funding, citing the bias. The Paris Climate Accord was unfair to the U.S. economy. The NPR, Washington Post, they called that climate denial. Experts in withdrawal isolated, U.S. without economic harm. The truth was, U.S. emissions fell 14% post-withdrawal via market forces. China emissions rose 30% despite pledges, violating uneven burdens. U.S. Postal Service subsidized Amazon deliveries. Trump claimed and accused Amazon of using the United States Postal Service as the delivery boy, causing tremendous loss to taxpayers. The New York Times dismissed it as baseless grudge. They said it was all against Bezos, and the United States Postal Service denied any losses. But according to a 2020 United States Postal Service report, $1.5 billion in annual losses on Amazon packages. China manipulating its currency, Donald Trump told us. Washington Post called that economic malpractice. Turned out to be true. European NATO allies weren't pulling their weight. The BBC and CNN called it bullying. Spending rose to $400 billion. That was beyond the $300 billion before. Sending Javelin missiles to Ukraine would deter Russian aggression. The Washington Post and CNN called it escalatory and risky, contrasting with Obama's non-lethal aid. Experts warned of provoking Putin. The missiles proved to be crucial in 2022's Ukraine war, destroying 1,000 Russian tanks. Biden officials credited Trump's move as pivotal. The Iran nuclear deal enabled Tehran's aggression without real restraints. New York Times and the CNN decried it as reckless warmongering. Obama officials claimed it verifiably worked. But the IAEA confirmed Iran breached limits post-deal and got 60% enrichment by 2021. Trump's sanctions crippled Iran's economy, delaying the program. Crushing ISIS required aggressive military action, not endless diplomacy. NPR, the Washington Post, called it hasty. Created vacuums. Obama-era experts said that there were years needed. But the truth was, the caliphate fell by March of 2019 in just 18 months. 100,000 fighters killed, and UN reports credited Trump's de-escalation. Space Force was essential for U.S. supremacy in orbit. Anybody remember how that got laughed at? CNN mocked it as sci-fi fantasy. And wasteful. Democrats called it redundant. In 2025, the Pentagon reports confirmed adversaries' anti-satellite tests. Space Force now leads 200-plus satellites, vital for GPS warfare. Hydrochloroquine. MSNBC and the New York Times branded it as dangerous quackery. Turns out a Henry Ford study showed a 20 to 30% mortality reduction in early use. The WHO later approved trials. Mail-in voting expansion would enable widespread fraud. CNN political fact checks called it baseless fear-mongering and voter suppression. 2020 audits in Georgia, Pennsylvania found 1,000 illegal ballots. In 2024, Heritage database logs 1,500 proven fraud cases tied to mail-in ballots. The opioid crisis required a declaring of a national emergency. The USA downplayed it as overhyped. And then deaths hit $110,000 a year. Maduro's Venezuela regime was on the brink of collapse. The Washington Post called it fantasy. During the 2024 elections, it sparked mass protests. U.S. sanctions froze $7 billion in assets, leading to Maduro's 2025 fight amid unrest. And now he's on the run and there's a bounty on his head. North Korea talks could pause missile tests without full denuclearization. New York Times ridiculed as summit theater. But what happened? No missile test after the meeting. General Motors and other firms were offshoring jobs and needed tariffs to bring them back. CNN called it a job-killing folly. Economists forecast a recession. And then GM announced 2,700 jobs returned post-tariffs. Manufacturing added 500,000 jobs in 2017 to 2019. I can go on. I'm only up to 34. We're going to have to consider exactly what people are telling you and you're repeating and what the facts are. When we come back, political will versus political won't. You don't want to miss this because I've got a question to people who are complaining about what Donald Trump promised and what he didn't deliver on when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Picture this. You're eating good food, enjoying a cocktail with dinner, and losing weight. That's the power of Awaken 180, a weight loss program that teaches you how to eat for your body without giving up what you love. No medications, no gimmicks. With Awaken 180, you get personalized coaching, lifetime support, and results guaranteed in the first week. Finally, a program that makes sense and creates lasting change. To kickstart your transformation, visit awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
What are you doing this Thanksgiving morning? Join the fun with thousands of others for the 89th running of the Manchester Road Race. Whether you run or walk, you'll be part of one of the greatest sports traditions in Connecticut. You can register now at manchesterroadrace.com. And please keep in mind that net proceeds from the Manchester Road Race go to local food charities. So if you run or walk but don't register, the charities lose. Please register today at manchesterroadrace.com.
Well, vacation is over, school is back in session, and WTIC News Talk 1080 is part of your daily routine with news, weather, and traffic updates, plus talk shows to keep you informed and entertained. It's back to the grind, but we'll help you get through it. WTIC News Talk 1080, always on your radio and on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
Fall is here, and the bees are buzzing. Keep your home cozy with a heating tune-up from Call the Bee. Your system will thank you when the cold nights roll in. Need something bigger? We've got you covered with free estimates on HVAC replacements and financing options to make upgrading easy. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.b.com to schedule. Call the Bee Connecticut. Plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical professionals. We'll be there, and we'll be fair.
Hi, this is Joel Johnson with Johnson Brunetti. Do not make mistakes when it comes to Social Security decisions. Get our free guide, Social Security Decisions. Call or text the word security to request your copy. 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word security to 1-800-705-1232 to get your free guide. 1-800-705-1232.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 2:30, Hartford temperature 54 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. There is a path to peace in the Middle East. President Trump was in Egypt to witness the signing of the agreement that netted a ceasefire and exchange of hostages and prisoners between Israel and Hamas after 2 years of conflict. All 20 remaining living hostages held in Gaza and scores of Palestinian prisoners held by Israel have walked free as part of that ceasefire, pausing 2 years of war. 4 bodies of deceased hostages were also being returned to Israel today. Conflict decimated the Gaza Strip, killing tens of thousands of Palestinians and triggering other conflicts in the region. Teenager in the hospital after Hartford police say he was shot Sunday night. Officers were dispatched to an area of 305 Enfield Street about a shooting when they found the 17-year-old. Injuries are said to be non-life-threatening. State police investigating a deadly crash in the town of Sharon. Troopers say that crash occurred Saturday afternoon around 3. 17-year-old, a passenger in a car that went off Route 41 and hit a tree near the intersection of Gulf Drive. Cause of that crash remains under investigation. Waterbury police about to begin a news conference to address the discovery of remains last week that were found of a 12-year-old girl. Body was found in a large container in the rear of a Clark Street home that had been abandoned. And Meriden police are on the lookout for a pair of suspects they say are responsible for a string of armed robberies in the city this month. They say one suspect knocked over 2 gas stations and another hit a pair of pizza restaurants. Anyone with any information is asked to call police. We have surveillance video stills posted on our website at WTIC.com. WTIC News Time 2:32. Bob Cox with the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
It remains cloudy and rather windy this afternoon. There will be occasional showers out there, highs in the mid to upper 50s. Still cloudy tonight. A couple more showers come through, lows in the upper 40s and low 50s. Mostly cloudy Tuesday, breezy, not as windy as yesterday or today, though. And there'll be a couple of showers still moving through the area, highs in the low 60s. That chance for a shower continues into about the first half of Tuesday night. Late tomorrow night should become partly cloudy, lows in the mid to upper 40s. Wednesday and Thursday with mostly sunny and breezy, highs in the 60s Wednesday, 55 to 60 Thursday, sunny Friday with a high around 60 degrees. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Compassionate counsel and proven results. AlairElderLaw.com. AlairElderLaw.com.
Never liked braces? Invisalign is an alternative that may be right for you. It's removable, more comfortable, and reduces the risk of developing cavities and gum disease. Get your dream smile discreetly and easily. Call Columbia Dental at 860-645-0111.
If you need a new roof, why would you purchase a shingle that gets those ugly algae streaks? Only Atlas Roofing with Scotchgard Protector keeps your roof clean and streak-free for years. It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary, and we would like you to get a roof that stays beautiful with Scotchgard Protector. Atlas Roofing, beauty that lasts. For a free estimate for roofing, siding, windows, and doors, go to peterlbrown.com.
Peter L. Brown, we do it right the first time.
At Odyssey, we believe in creating a diverse and inclusive workforce. We also value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be notified of all our open positions. That's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for all our listeners, please visit odysseyinc.com/careers for a list of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments, in most cases, have made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Attention. Have you $1,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Here we go. Again, 800-894-7722.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
So I just got great news from an email. We are confirmed. Robert Cool Bell of Cool and the Gang will be on the program next week, Wednesday, on the 22nd at 4:05. Can't wait to tell Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center about that. I know you'll be psyched for that. So he'll be our guest on Wednesday. I'm actually very excited to talk to him about the band. They'll be touring. I think they're going to be in Atlantic City sometime that week. So if you are interested, that's where you can find them. Let me get to this thing real quick because I have so much other news to get into today, and it's Monday, and it's chock full of news. I've got to talk about this young lady in New Britain who was found dead in a, I guess, some cooler or something, some container in the back of an abandoned apartment. That has been a subject people have been talking about online. I want to get to that as well. So stay tuned for that. Mimi Torres is her name. That's her nickname, Mimi. We'll talk about that a little bit. Political will versus political won't. I want to get into that as well. But somebody in the chat room wrote something interesting. Black unemployment is twice that of whites. Black women are losing jobs at record rates. This guy, Donald Trump, asked blacks what do they have to lose? Answer, their jobs. And I ask this question because I'm, again, a black man. Not that that matters. I'm just a black man. But I'm Reese on the Radio. And I ask the simple question, can they not get new jobs? Every time I ever lost a job, I found a new one. Is there something I'm missing? That has always been a fabric of my life and everybody else's life for generations. You lose a job, you find a new one. That's it. There ain't no time to complain about who's losing jobs, who's not losing jobs. I got a family to feed. Why would you'd think I would stop and go, well, why you only firing the black folks? No. I wouldn't even stand around. The last time I was ever fired, I got fired from a Nissan dealership. I'll never forget it. I didn't stand around looking at the guys just like, well, why me? No. I went out and found a new job and had one in a day. Paid more, too. It's a little bit of a commute, but it paid more. Didn't care. You move on. A job? And of course, the response to that is, why aren't whites losing their jobs at the same rate? I don't know and don't care. Just don't care. My objective is to get a job, not to check the stats. Your babies ain't going to live off stats. Political will versus political won't. Charlemagne said this on his radio show. I thought it was interesting. Not that he's ever consistent. He's always back and forth. But this comment was relevant.
Donald Trump shows me what's politically possible. Trump shows me what presidents can do if they want to do it. Donald Trump shows me what can be said if you are willing to say it. It's not about what can't be done. It's about who has the political will to do it. I don't want to hear a peep from Democrats about nothing until they get the balls to say what's really on their mind in regards to this country and this world. Trump doesn't care if it sounds ridiculous. Trump doesn't care if it makes sense. It's no political correctness whatsoever. As I've been saying for years, the language of politics is dead, and Donald Trump killed it.
Political will versus political won't. And you have to ask yourself what kind of politician your guy is or gal. And what is the one complaint most people have had about politics? And that is making promises they cannot keep. Now, I heard all of these people saying, I thought he was going to solve, Ukraine and Russia on day one. Okay. He didn't. He was going to lower prices on day one. Okay. He didn't. He said he was going to lower gas prices on day one. He said he was going to lower the price of eggs on day one. He said he was going to stop the war in Gaza on day one. But my question to you is, are any of those promises kept? Many of them have been. He's continuing to negotiate between Russia and Ukraine, continuing, even putting sanctions, but he hasn't stopped trying to do what he's planning on doing. In fact, you see it every day because he's asked about it every day, and it's brought up every day. But I never see this kind of, like resistance to the man that I see with other politicians, even some of your favorites. I don't hear anybody screaming and hollering about promises that were not kept when it comes to other presidents. Let's start with a few, if I may. I remember a president saying that there was going to be a middle-class tax cut. There was going to be a tax cut for middle-income families. But instead, that president raised taxes as part of a 1993 budget to reduce the deficit, leading to criticism that he abandoned his core economic pledge. That was Bill Clinton. A full repeal on bans on gays in the military. What ended up happening? He had to reduce it to don't ask, don't tell. How about protecting Haitian refugees and their asylum rights? He criticized Herbert Walker Bush's policies and promised he would get Haitians asylum. He did not. How about advancing abortion rights? Clinton committed to codifying Roe v. Wade and easing restrictions, but did not do it. He didn't even prioritize it, despite having Democrat majorities, allowing new limits on federal funding and procedures to pass. It didn't get done, even though he had majorities. Didn't even address it. Let's go to the chosen one. Close Guantanamo Bay. That was a campaign promise. Didn't happen. How about no new taxes on people earning under $250,000? That didn't happen either. To end don't ask, don't tell? What happened? Comprehensive immigration reform with citizen path? He vowed for a bill for the dreamers and undocumented workers, but he only ended up passing a executive order. That's it. Bipartisan working groups. I remember this. The bipartisan working group where he would bring in Republicans and Democrats to pass legislation. They said he promised institutionalized congressional consultation on wars, open law writing, but pursued actions in Libya on a unilateral basis. And of course, did the Affordable Care Act in a backroom deal with just Democrats on Christmas Eve. I'm not making an argument about politicians and whether or not they fail at their campaign promises. I'm talking about whether or not they actively work on them or just ignored them overall and you never hear from them again. And that was the case in many, many presidencies. Many. You can call a lot of things a lie. You can call a lot of things, I don't know, I don't even want to say a lie. You can say a lot of things didn't happen. But is there an active working group to get the legislation or the particular policy done? Make that argument if you try. Make the argument. Donald Trump is doing everything, or at least trying to do everything that he promised on. And what did you guys end up on? The Epstein files. That's what you ended up on. Not a policy that enriches your life. Not tax policy. Not nothing. I don't hear anybody screaming and hollering about the stuff that matters. That's the only thing I'm trying to bring. I'm trying to understand. Political will or political won't. Most people talk a good game about what they want to do in order to get elected, but they never do the thing that they got elected for. And President Trump has a proven track record of actual effort to do the things he said he's going to do. Actual efforts. And you see it every day, and nobody can argue it. You can try to, but there is no argument there. If you can name one, please let me know. Number's 860-522-WTIC. Tell me something Donald Trump said he was going to do that there has not been any effort to attack. Any effort to attempt to get done. Just tell me which one it is. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. So, you know, that's how that goes. What do I have, another minute and a half? Let me finish up this list of more Trump telling the truth and the media lying. Biden's border policies would create humanitarian and security crises. NPR called it xenophobic exaggeration. Biden administration denied surge. Economic data from the labor statistics. Remember that? The economic data from labor statistics. They said Donald Trump called them fake and manipulated under the Democrats. Trump accused BLS jobs reports of inflation, especially pre-2020 election. Fact checkers labeled it as a conspiracy theory. Economists defended the accuracy. And in a 2025 GAO audit, found that BLS revisions understated Biden's era losses up to 1 million jobs. Trump's era claims in 2020, they were all phantom jobs. Ivermectin has untapped potential for COVID despite early ridicule. The late night shows at MSNBC called it a horse dewormer. Do we need to go there again? China's tariffs would force fairer trade without hurting U.S. customers. New York Times claimed Americans footed an $80 billion bill. 2024 studies showed that China absorbed 75% of the cost. The Steele dossier, he was right. No new wars started under his watch. He was right, despite Washington Post calling it an unlucky streak. Vaccine development, warp speed. Even though it's caused some problems, nonetheless, I just keep asking the question, what does all this stuff mean? If all of these things it turned out to be true when he was called a liar, what does it mean? And the people who kept calling him a liar were the same old suspects over and over again. But yet Donald Trump is the liar. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. It's Reese on the Radio.
Picture this. You're eating good food, enjoying a cocktail, and losing weight. That's Awaken 180, a program that fits into your lifestyle with coaches who support you every step of the way. Visit awaken180weightloss.com to kickstart your transformation.
Fall is a great time to buy a new mattress.
Actually, any time is great, especially when they're on sale.
Hi, it's Michael.
And Christine.
From Connecticut Mattress.
Come in now and save hundreds on brand name mattresses.
And say goodbye to aches and pains.
Sleep better.
Feel better.
With Connecticut Mattress.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can play a part in saving lives. Make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Saturday, October 25th at White Memorial Conservation Center in Litchfield. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/LitchfieldCO. That's afsp.org/LitchfieldCO.
He's a world arm wrestling champion, Michael Todd.
I'm globally known as Monster Michael Todd. I'm 52 years old. I've won 23 world titles and 36 national titles.
This tough guy never backs down, but a horrible bicep injury almost ended his career. Enter QC Kinetics and life-changing regenerative treatments.
Most people thinking that I'd never be able to compete again. Within 8 months, I became number 5 overall in the world. Now I'm marching towards that number 1 spot.
So how did he do it?
I'm a big regenerative medicine kind of guy. Once I found out about QC Kinetics, I wanted to try their protocol.
Those treatments use a patient's own orthobiologics concentrated and placed into the troubled area to help heal and restore the damage. No scalpels or harmful meds, just long-term relief.
QC Kinetics definitely have helped me be able to live this dream and be able to do what I want to do and continue to do it for a lot more years.
When the others say, time for surgery, you're finished. Not so fast. Call QC Kinetics. The consultation's totally free.
Call QC Kinetics. 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Life insurance. Are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So, protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
It's Reese on the Radio on
Trump
News
shows
Talk
me what's
1080
politically possible. Trump shows
WTIC.
me what presidents can do if they want to do it. Donald Trump shows me what can be said if you are willing to say it. It's not about what can't be done. It's about who has the political will to do it. I don't want to hear a peep from Democrats about nothing until they get the balls to say what's really on their mind in regards to this country and this world. Trump doesn't care if it sounds ridiculous. Trump doesn't care if it makes sense. It's no political correctness whatsoever. As I've been saying for years, the language of politics is dead, and Donald Trump killed it.
He did, probably because he had no fear in telling people what they needed to hear. And he challenged the establishment. And that was the biggest problem. And I saw these people any day and every day. I got to tell you, I watched these people over and over again tell me what was and what isn't presidential. And then when you challenged them on it, they had nothing to say. Everybody's like, Donald Trump isn't presidential. And I'm like really, what do you call presidential? Like, what's this defined presidential thing you're talking about? And what they really are admitting is that he doesn't sound like a politician. He doesn't sound polished, which, by the way, is nothing more than an excuse. That's all it is. It's an excuse. It's an excuse to claim Donald Trump is an outlier. He's not like all of the rest of them. And what he's supposed to do is be polished. You know, he's supposed to be squeaky clean. He's supposed to point his fingers or use his fist with his thumb up when he speaks. We're going to get that done and this done and that done. He doesn't speak politician. He just talks like he talks. He's not phony. which in essence, that's what people are kind of trying to say. They really, really want somebody who's just phony. That's all. And look, to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. If you want your politicians to be phony, if you want them to look like, I don't know, Ned Lamont, if you want them to behave like that, like if that's what a politician looks like to you, sure, if that's what you vote for. I mean, I got to be honest with you, even I'm a little tired of that. I can't understand why you aren't. I would avoid anybody who, look at, here's a perfect example. What's his name? John Edwards. Was he from North Carolina, John Edwards? Do you remember him? You can't tell me that John Edwards doesn't look like the right kind of politician. Everything about him was perfect. The hair swooped over the eyes, perfect. Spoke well. Magnanimous, great smile. And of course, behind the scenes, he's boinking the videographer, having a secret love child, hiding in bathrooms when the National Enquirer catches him doing it, running from the press, secretly having an affair with his videographer while his wife is dying of cancer. That's what you guys want as a politician. That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood for you. You like that. A guy like Donald Trump comes around and he starts smacking around your favorite puppet, and you get mad. Your entire, way of life is completely overturned. Somebody comes in and just kicks it all over, and you get outraged. And the worst part is that it's not even an original thought. That's the scary part. Everything you guys dole out, there's nothing original about it. You're just as cookie cutter as the people you support. You follow the mantra of the day. You repeat the talking points of today. You can't think for yourselves. You just know that you're supposed to repeat the same old nonsense. And then when you're pushed back on, you seem to lose control. You start pulling out your hair because somebody will wreck your orthodoxy while the rest of us are literally kicking over the apple cart that you drove in on. I love it. That's all. I mean, it's just, that's the way that it is now. And the beauty of it is, at the end of the day, what's happening right now? If you really look at it, what's your party doing? You're running around trying to find authenticity. That's what all of the strategists and all that other stuff, they're running around doing think tanks to find authenticity. How bizarre is that? It's completely ridiculous. Finding authenticity within your ranks. Completely defeating what authenticity is. Not even understanding it. Good luck to you. I love watching it. It's fun. It is fun. I love to watch you scramble. Because while you're screaming and hollering that we're wrong, deep behind the scenes, you're trying to copy us. That's the funny part. Secretly, that's what you're doing. So all that nonsense gets ignored anyway. It's fun. Anyway, when we come back, the ugly truth about the death of Mimi Torres and why no one wants to touch this story. I'll read the statement today. You don't want to miss it. But let's get to the WTIC newsroom with John Silva. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
3 o'clock, Hartford temperature 54 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Overcast periods of rain. We'll keep it in the 50s today. Forecast details coming up. Police have identified the 12-year-old girl whose remains were found in a container in back of a New Britain residence last week. This is New Britain Police Chief Matt Marino.
The child we found was positively identified as 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres.
Marino said during a news conference that's still going on that they wanted to withhold the information. They did so that erroneous details of this case were not released. The Farmington police chief is Paul Melanson, and he provides some additional details.
Investigators from the Farmington Police Department, with the assistance from the New Britain Police Department, have determined that Jacqueline likely died in the fall of 2024 while her family was still residing in Farmington. Evidence indicates that Jacqueline was the victim of prolonged physical abuse and malnourishment prior to her death. It is also believed that following her death, Jacqueline's body was kept in the family's basement and subsequently moved when the family relocated from Farmington in March of 2025.
Now under arrest are Jacqueline's mother, Carla Garcia, and her sister, Carla's sister. They're all facing murder and other charges. In addition, an arrest warrant is also out for Garcia's boyfriend in this case. Strong wind and rainstorm dropped upwards of 2 inches of rain in parts of Connecticut today. Also dropped trees and power lines thanks to those winds that have been whipping with gusts of 40 miles an hour or better. Along the shoreline, residents kept a wary eye on the angry seas. Steve O'Connell lives near Walnut Beach in Milford.
You notice we put boards up to make sure if the water flows this way that it doesn't come down the road. We evacuate everything off the deck. So as long as you're prepared, it's interesting. It's interesting to watch the waves. It's pretty exciting.
Audio from WFSB. Now, Eversource had crews positioned throughout the state to deal with power outages. And at last check, the utility is reporting about 8,065 of its customers still impacted. That's down from over 10,000 at the height. An historic hostage and prisoner swap between Israel and Hamas today. That followed by a signing ceremony.
For the Gaza peace deal, President Trump is there for a regional summit to chart the course ahead.
All leaders, the big leaders are here, the emirs and the kings and everybody, and it's a very interesting group. I guess we have like 35 countries, and that's only because they were the 35 that we invited. Everybody that we invited came. So there's a lot of respect.
Earlier in Israel, he called it an incredible triumph as Hamas released the remaining 20 living hostages it held. Israel freed 1,900 Palestinian prisoners. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
You are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. And together, Mr. President, we will achieve this peace.
Israel has rejected any role in Gaza for the Palestinian Authority, whose leader is at the Egypt summit.
That's CBS News correspondent Steve Kathan. In Meriden, police are investigating a series of armed robberies. They say between October 8th and the 11th, there have been 4 such crimes, at least, 2 in gas stations and 2 at pizza restaurants. Surveillance pictures of the suspects have been released. A man wearing a black face covering is believed to be behind the pizzeria robberies. A man wearing a white full face mask is suspected of robbing the gas stations. Meriden police are urging the public to report any suspicious behavior from a safe distance by calling 911 and providing any physical and vehicle descriptions as best they can. We have still surveillance photos from these 2 on our website at WTIC.com. AAA is advising motorists now it's time to begin to think about getting their vehicles ready for the cold winter months ahead. The Motor Club's Tracy Noble says top of mind should be the battery.
AAA recommends that automotive batteries be tested and changed every 3 to 5 years. You don't realize the draw that we require from our batteries these days with all the electronics that have been added to the vehicle.
Noble also advises checking the vehicle's essential fluids like oil, coolant, brake and transmission fluid, and replace them as needed. WTIC News Time is 3:04. From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network, only problem, or actually a couple of problems really now, over in Southington on 84 East between exits 28 and 30. Looks like a crash involving a tractor trailer. That's off on the shoulder. Down in Lower Fairfield County, Norwalk specifically, northbound on 95, the 16 off-ramp. You only got 1 lane open there due to a crash. Elsewhere, it is just pretty much delays. Obviously, the weather not helping things. In Hamden, slower traffic southbound on 15 between exits 50 and 46. And back up this way in Manchester, some leftover road work. One of the few projects underway today because of the holiday. Eastbound on 291, between exit 5 and the end of the 91 or 291 eastbound ramp. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
Stormy conditions will continue through tonight as our tropical rainstorm continues to slowly move up the coast. Looks like the rest of this afternoon is going to be windy, periods of rain from that tropical rainstorm. Wet roads, even some lower visibility from that rain could lead to some travel disruptions and a high of 56. Tonight, rain continues from the tropical rainstorm with lows down around 51. Now, tomorrow's a breezy day. Otherwise, we'll see areas of drizzle early on and then lots of clouds the rest of the day as we head through the afternoon hours. Highs around 60 degrees. High pressure starts to build in tomorrow night. We'll see skies beginning to clear and a low of 50. And Wednesday, a decent day, partly sunny and breezy with highs around 63 degrees. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's up 497 points, NASDAQ's up 460, and the S&P is up 93 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Over the years, the bathroom has gone by many names. The French called it the smelly house. The Egyptians, the
What's
house
up,
of
Craig?
horrors. If either of these describe your bathroom, well then it's time to visit Modern Plumbing Supply. Let our seasoned staff assist you in selecting the perfect items to transform your bathroom into your own personal oasis. Now, doesn't that sound much better? Modern Plumbing Supply on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply. Hello, it's Lena Dunham. I host a podcast called The C Word.
Be right back.
Dearest friend and historian
Okay.
of bad behavior, Alyssa Bennett.
What is up?
It's a chat show about women whose society is called crazy.
We're going to be rediscovering the stories of women's society dismissed by calling them mad, sad, or just plain bad.
Listen to and follow The C Word with Lena Dunham and Alyssa Bennett. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, it's Morgan Cunningham, and you may be most used to hearing me during the week delivering news updates. You know, the whole Morgan Cunningham WTIC 1080 News thing. But did you know that on Saturdays after 2 o'clock, I host Spotlight Connecticut? That's my talk show where I find all kinds of different people, places, things involving Connecticut and put them in 1 hour long-form interview conversation format for you to learn something new about Connecticut, newsmakers that you generally would not hear during the week on WTIC because they're not the run-of-the-mill usual newsmakers, but that doesn't mean that they can't make news the same. Check me out Saturday afternoons at 2 on WTIC NewsTalk 1080, WTIC.com, and on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
A winning team has great players and coaches with different strengths and expertise, but all with a common goal, to win. A full-service law firm is no different. At BPS Lawyers, we have top legal minds in every specialty: personal injury, business law, family law, criminal defense, and more. Visit any of our 6 offices across Connecticut. When it comes to the law, you don't just need a lawyer. You need a full-service law firm. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Visit bpslawyers.com, proud full-service law partner of UConn Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearest is responsible for this ad.
The dog days of summer are fading quickly. Hurry to get this limited time preseason offer. Call ALO Home Services today and take advantage of their $99 heating system check special. Prevent costly and inconvenient breakdowns backed by a worry-free no breakdown guarantee. Call, click, or text today and say hello ALO, licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P10277688, S10413487, D10401465, S33086999, SM3004646, E11856443.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text SAVVY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text SAVVY to 42424. That's SAVVY to 42424.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
You probably heard at the top of the hour, John Silver talking about the death of 12-year-old Mimi Torres and the investigation into her murder. I mean, I don't think there's any other way that you can describe this. And it is a sad state of affairs as it relates to this 12-year-old girl. And as I'm looking at this story, which was talked about all weekend, there were demands for public officials, of course, Aaron Stewart to speak up, to say something. And everyone has been reticent. Everyone's been cautious about what to say and when to say it, what should be done, how they should address it. And I'll get into that in a minute. I have my own apprehensions here, but it's not for the reasons you think. I'm going to say what I need to say, but we have to talk about what's at hand here. We now know that this 12-year-old was missing since the fall of 2024. And no one found it odd. No persons were involved. DCF wasn't involved. Nobody was involved at all. The body was moved. According to reports, early reports, the body was moved to several locations. It was dumped. The child was abused, starved, all of it. What can you possibly take away from this story other than it was a tragedy? That it is a tragedy. It's far worse than that. It is negligence on a lot of people's parts. And I have to admit, sorry to say this is becoming commonplace in Connecticut. I want to read this statement and why I'm saying what I'm saying. This came from Rachel Zanusky, communications director for the city of New Britain. Here's what she writes. Delicate investigations of this nature often take twists and turns, which is why it is so important that we do not say anything until we have all the facts that have been corroborated by all law enforcement agencies actively working on a case like this. I don't know if anybody can read into that, but because it is my business, I know exactly what it means. It means please do not judge the people who may be responsible because they are minorities and they are of the Hispanic or Latino community. That's it. That's all this is. Delicate what delicate investigation? A 12-year-old was found behind an abandoned home, dismembered. Delicate? If this had been any other circumstances where, let's just say, any other normal human being, let's say an adult female had been found, would have been deemed for everybody to be told, hold on, take a beat, slow down, this is delicate. No, not at all. But again, the most vulnerable person you could think of, 12-year-old female child, telling everybody else, this is delicate, let's take a beat. What? What this means, and when you say something like that, you give away the store. You give away the whole store when you say it. Is that don't make this about race. Nobody's doing that. Don't make this about that community. Nobody's doing that. You're trying to prevent anyone from saying that because deep down, you know that the reason why this was ignored is for two reasons. It is two reasons. It's because, one, we have a protected class in Connecticut. You know we do. And we have absolutely no real interest in the severity of the state of children in Connecticut. They just don't. I'm sorry, folks, they just don't. This is an outrageous story that involves a mother that did this to her own child. This is the biological mother who did this to a 12-year-old girl. All of this telling everybody to be delicate. Are you kidding me? What normal person wouldn't be outraged? What normal person? Anybody here, if you've ever raised a kid, has a niece who was that age at any point in their life, who wouldn't be naturally outraged or be concerned? You tell everybody, under normal circumstances, this would be like ring every alarm possible. Under any other circumstances, this would be a 5-alarm fire. We have people talking about politics in more severe ways than this girl's death. Do you understand that? This is an actual human being who was murdered. A child that was murdered. You have other people talking about stuff, absolute fabrications, talking about a death to our democracy in Connecticut. This is a death of a human child. And everybody's, hold off. Take a beat. Don't anybody get ahead of their skis. Let's get all of the information. Okay, now we know that the mother is responsible. Yes, now we know that the child has been dead since last fall. Now we know that the mother and other members, I believe the boyfriend and an aunt, were just moving the child in and around Connecticut. Okay, can we not be so delicate now? Can we now ask for the individuals responsible to be put in jail, and if we're lucky, get them executed? Huh? Or is that too much? We were delicate. We had to wait 9 days in some cases to get a response from some individuals, even the mayor of the town. How long is everybody going to have to wait before we actually start taking some action? The interesting part about the DCF thing here, the interesting part about it was when it involved the woman in Waterbury, how did Governor Lamont respond? How did he respond? We've got to look at homeschooling. We have to find a way to incorporate homeschooling with the overall education of Connecticut. We can't have them off in the weeds raising their children quietly by themselves. Where you at today, Lamont? According to the reports, at least out of NBC Connecticut, this 12-year-old girl was being homeschooled, I say with quotations. Where's now screaming and hollering about homeschooling? Huh? Nothing. Governor hasn't come out. Lamont, nothing. Blumenthal, nothing. Himes, nothing. Where are they? We literally have to scream and holler and get these people. It's like pulling teeth with these people. Why? Because they don't want to focus any attention. They're concerned. And that's what the delicate part about this is that this is a protected class of people that no one is to scrutinize. And if people show outrage, to them, it is like giving permission to be upset at a Hispanic mother who killed her child. And they can't have that. They've got to protect the agenda before they protect the children. Their safety be damned. They don't care. They don't care. It's that simple. And I'm sorry, Hispanics out there, you're going to have to come to a really, really quick understanding of what's going on in and around the country. You are useless. You are here to be used. Do you understand that? Outside of you being used, you are useless to these people. You're a prop. You're a pawn. You were used against their political enemies. You are used to make a point. But if you die, if you starve, if you get kicked out of your home, if you are homeless, you are of no use to them unless they can use you. everybody should be up in arms. This should have to do nothing with her ethnicity. This should be a kid has died. The same way that it should have been dealt with when that young black girl hung herself because she was being bullied and nobody paid any attention to it. Didn't care. Because DCF had to be protected. That kid was just a pawn, just a necessary evil in the grand scheme of things. When the little baby fell out the window with an alleged crackhead father still sitting in the house, according to reports, nothing was done. DCF absolutely dropped the ball, but nope, they had to be protected. It's always the same case over and over again. And the only victims here are the children and everybody is claiming that they care the most about, that they're supposed to be protected. And over again, more and more of them seem to fall by the wayside and just die and get abused and are just thrown away. While everybody pats each other on the back and says, no, we're doing a good job. We're doing okay. You don't care. They've never cared. The children are useful for one thing, to indoctrinate them and for some odd weird reason sexualize them with these awful books that they're putting in classrooms. I don't think I've ever seen this kind of abuse in the world. I don't ever think I've seen this actual concerted effort by politicians, radical fundamentalists, think tanks, political groups. I don't think I've ever seen this kind of onslaught of just destroying the lives of people that they use. And it's just any given day, they just shift their political weight to every little group that they can marginalize when it's convenient to them. I'll read it again. Delicate investigations of this nature. What is delicate about this? What's the delicate part? The child has been dead since last fall. It said the delicate investigations of this nature often take twists and turns, which is why it is so important that we do not say anything until we have all the facts that have been corroborated by law enforcement agencies actively working on a case like this. Do we ever get this type of measured response when the situation is racial in nature? When it is the police involved in a shooting with an individual? Is there ever any care or pause? Or let's wait it out until we get the facts? Where's all that? That's never the case. As I bring up all the time, Ned Lamont took the death of George Floyd to admonish his own police department, who had nothing to do with it, saying that we need police reforms because of one officer and one death with one guy who lived over 1,500 miles away. If I remember correctly, George Floyd's never stepped foot in a nutmeg state. And if he did, I'm pretty sure it was to rob somebody. Yeah, that's right, I said that. Right back at you. But no, who did Governor Lamont blame? Cops. Who actually had to reconsider who they are and how they should behave? Cops. They didn't even know George Floyd. They don't even know Derek Chauvin. Many of them don't even live out west. They just don't. Imagine waking up this one morning and just being completely blamed for the behaviors of some other officer, saying that we have to be held to an account in some way. And then you hear these bozos sit around here and tell me that this must be dealt in a delicate way. What? Just come out and say it. It's an Hispanic family. It's an Hispanic young lady. And we don't want you folks jumping to conclusion. And we think you're going to be racist and bigoted. So we got to put a stop to that. Please don't be racist and bigoted. By the way, Rachel, putting a statement out like this is racist. It is bigoted because you're saying that the death of this child, who again, we're talking about not like a kid who inadvertently went into a refrigerator and locked themselves in and died. This is a child who was dismembered and put inside of a container and left behind an abandoned house. That is not something we treat delicately. That is something we treat with outrage. We need all to be outraged about something like that. We have permission. Folks, I give you all permission to be outraged about this. I give you permission to be outraged and screaming and hollering at those who did nothing to protect this girl and who are now all of a sudden concerned about how we're supposed to behave. They seem to be more protective of nonsense than they were about this little girl. They seem to be more concerned about the reputation of individuals and stopping people from jumping to conclusions than they seem to be concerned about the death of a child. I give you all permission to be outraged. You don't need them. In fact, you don't even need my permission. If you are outraged, you should be. And you should ask public officials to stand up and knock it off with the stupidity. We're done with the political correctness. Someone is dead. And if they don't get on the ball, more will die. Because if you keep allowing them to do it, more and more people will be neglectful of their children. You'll keep handling them with kid gloves, and they'll have a license to abuse more kids. We'll take a break. We'll be back. I'll take your phone calls if you want to opine about this, and if you want to chime in on the chat room, you can. It's 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
Another summer over, and you may have noticed that your energy is lower. Your workouts aren't as productive. Perhaps you aren't sleeping as well and feel foggy all the time. Maybe even your sex drive is off. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're experiencing some or all of these symptoms, it's likely you have low testosterone. And if that's what's going on with you, don't wait. You need to call us at Northeast Men's Health and get treated for your low T, because living with low testosterone is no way to live. With our low T treatments, if you're like most guys, your life will change considerably. Improved sleep, better energy, greater gains in the gym, better mental clarity, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. Plus, most men see these results in just a few weeks. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes PSA and T-tests and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
It's 3:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We have mainly cloudy skies for the balance of the afternoon. We'll have the forecast details coming up from the WTIC Weather Center. Arrests have been made in connection with the disappearance and subsequent discovery of a little girl in New Britain. The child identified as Jacqueline Torres. Her mother, Carla, and her aunt, Jacqueline Garcia, are now in custody, and police also have a warrant out for the arrest of the mother's boyfriend in connection with this case. In Meriden, police are asking for the public's help in trying to find the two suspects who are behind, or said to be behind, 4 armed robberies in the last several days. 2 gas stations and 2 pizza restaurants were knocked over between October 8th and the 11th. We have still pictures of the suspects on our website at WTIC.com. In Hartford, police are investigating a shooting from last night. They say a 17-year-old was found in the area of 305 Enfield Street, suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. There's no information on any suspect or a motive for that shooting. WTIC News Time is 3:31. Let's get the forecast from meteorologist Bob Cox.
We'll continue to see occasional showers out there this afternoon, cloudy conditions and northeast winds still gusting up to about 35 miles an hour at times, potentially some higher gusts in some of the higher elevations in coastal areas. Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s this afternoon. Cloudy tonight, still a couple of showers around, lows in the upper 40s and low 50s. Mostly cloudy and breezy Tuesday. Still a couple of showers in the area, but probably more parts of the day dry rather than wet. Highs in the low 60s. And the chance for a shower continues into about the first half of Tuesday night. Then late Tuesday night, it turns partly cloudy, lows in the mid to upper 40s. Mostly sunny and breezy Wednesday as high pressure builds in, highs in the 60s. Thursday looks sunny and breezy, highs 55 to 60. Sunny Friday, the high around 60 degrees. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wall Street, the Dow up 586 points. NASDAQ's ahead 478. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
A Thanksgiving tradition in Connecticut is the Manchester Road Race. Another tradition is donating blood at the Ray Crothers Blood Drive. The Manchester Road Race Committee will again team up with the American Red Cross for this annual blood drive on Friday, November 28th at Manchester High School. Last year, the blood drive collected 376 pints of blood, benefiting over 1,100 patients in need of plasma and platelets. It's not too early to sign up. Please visit manchesterroadrace.com for more information.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition, available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
When you drive around and look at the homes in your area, you'll see all those roofs with ugly algae streaks. Those roofs look old before their time. But with Atlas Roofing, featuring Scotchgard Protector, your roof stays beautiful, clean, and streak-free. It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary, and we would like you to get a roof that looks great year after year. For a free estimate for roofing, siding, windows, and doors, go to peterlbrown.com.
Peter L. Brown, we do it right the first time.
You'll get more than you expect with McValue at McDonald's. So when you've spent too much on a night out, get deals on the after party. When you've got date night, get deals on favorites that'll make you their favorite. And when you've got family for the weekend, we've got breakfast.
It only takes $5 to fire up the flavor with the hot and spicy McChicken and the $5 meal deal. Or $6 to savor a McDouble in the $6 meal deal. Price and participation may vary. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Fall is here,
and the bees are buzzing. Keep your home cozy with a heating tune-up from Call the Bee. Your system will thank you when the cold nights roll in. Need something bigger? We've got you covered with free estimates on HVAC replacements and financing options to make upgrading easy. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.b.com to schedule. Call the Bee Connecticut. Plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical professionals. We'll be there, and we'll be fair.
Just hearing the words can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have
Here we go.
but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
Hey, it's Joe D'Ambrosio giving a salute to the broadcaster at 100.
Hey, we're back. Reese on the radio. I was discussing this ugly truth about the death of Mimi Torres, a 12-year-old girl who was found last week. And again, and you know, when you have or have had young children, and me as recently as, you know, being married to Roseanne, and the boy was just turning 14 when we got together. And I'm not going to lie, the first year he was in my life, I felt like I gained a new son. And when you hear a story like this, you immediately reflect on yourself. It's like, wow. It's like, wow, what the mother must be going through. Because you know what you would go through. And then you find out that the mother has been arrested. And then you get angry because you're saying to yourself, it's like, who does that? Like, who does? You can't, no matter who you are. And again, I even say that to people who are childless, unless you're, you know, that kind of childless lady person who hates kids, you know, from the womb. There are some people out there who just have no use for children, and I get that. But if you can't find it in your heart, if you saw a picture of this girl, Mimi, and just say to yourself, man, how could you? And then other people who will respond by saying, oh man, it happens every day. I hate to say it, but sometimes I just want to shake some sense into them. I don't give a damn if it happens every day. I don't give a damn if it happens a million times a day. It cannot be normalized at all. So, again, all of you who have been responding to it the way that you have, I know what your outrage is about. But that outrage, it has to be put to good use, especially to these people who, I just watched a video of Aaron Stewart being asked if DCF knew anything about it, and she just looked confused. You got to watch the video yourself. Don't you think I'm being mean-spirited here, but just looked around and just went, no. I mean, Aaron, I'm sorry. I have never seen a person look more out of their depth than that moment. The fact that you don't take the lead, that you don't jump in front of that microphone and ensure the people of that community that this cannot stand. And the fullest extent of the law must be put on the people who are responsible to just sit there and just go, no, and then back away from the microphone like a scared cub. Does not exude leadership. It just didn't. It's not that you're responsible. It's not even that you have to be responsible. But you got to take charge. That's what you do when tragedy falls on your city. You set people's minds at ease. You say something encouraging and enlightening and uniting. You say something. We are all affected by what happened to Mimi. We all stand together and condemn this happening to any of our children. And if it should happen again, just like these parents, they will be held to the fullest extent of the law. We will make sure the book is thrown at them if they are found responsible through a court and a jury of their peers. That's what you do. And again, I'm not a politician, and I gave that speech off the top of my head. That's called natural-born leadership. Now, I'm not sitting up here trying to toot my own horns that I've got it. I just know what to say. Let's go to the man who's been covering this story since its inception, my man, Mark in West Hartford. What's going on, sir?
Well, I already told you I went on 30,000 calls as a Hartford firefighter, and you never get jaded when it comes to a disturbing death of a human being, especially kids.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go out there and find out, as much as I could, because there was silence. This happened. The report came in Wednesday at 1 p.m. And then by Saturday morning, I woke up. I said, you know what? I grabbed a coffee and I drove over there. And for a while, I was by myself in the morning. And I'll tell you what, for those of you who've never immersed yourself at a location where something bad has happened, just to know I was just feet away from whatever storage container poor Mimi was in. And then I spent, like I said, about 4 hours, and then neighbors started coming out or walking to the bus stop, and people were starting to stop by. And I had a chance to interview quite a few people. Yeah. Now, here's the thing is, this press conference, I learned nothing today. You know why? I knew everything they said today on Saturday. I was actually posting on X that something happened in Farmington. And, it was just odd to see them say at the press conference that, they don't want to compromise the investigation, but they got to talk to the community, and it's sensitive. Like, they won't give the location in Farmington, right? And this and that. I talked to 4 neighbors who live on the street, 2 across from the abandoned, blighted building. They have yet to be questioned by police or FBI. I go, wait, it's Saturday. Are you telling me, is anybody in your building? They're mostly 2 and 3 families.
Wow.
They all said no. There was nobody there. It was an empty street. It wasn't like there was, it was being protected, or there was a command post there or anything. It was just, I was literally for a while the only one there. But now.
So hold on. No, wait. We know. Wait. I don't want you to get off this, because that's I'm taking in everything it is that you're saying. We have a dead child, a 12-year-old. We don't know how long the child has been there. We're now learning that the child has been there been dead since the fall of last year. They're not certain what month, but they are certain it was the fall of last year, which in essence could be September or October. We do know that. And we know that the body was behind this abandoned building, this abandoned house, I should say, which is a corner home, if I'm correct, right? It's on a corner.
No, it's in a couple of houses.
Okay. Oh, it's in the middle of the block?
There was a fire. I could tell there was a fire there at one point.
Okay.
The char. It was all boarded up, completely blighted, overgrown. And from what I understand, it's been that way for quite some time.
Yeah, somebody said it's been there for about 2 years. I know someone said it was there for about 2 years. So, and the neighbors in that area who live there, you're talking by the time you got there on Saturday, this reported on Wednesday, not one neighbor in the area has been questioned about suspicious activity, noticing anybody going into the area who may have been hanging. Or even though, and that's the other part, is that they know that it is a known squatter's location. And still no one has been there.
You would think PD would have been diligent to question everybody at least on that street. At least there. In getting to Farmington, I'm trying to find the location in Farmington, which you would think they'd want to go, because now how is the community, like, imagine you live in Farmington. Are people just calling randomly, like, hey, where did they live?
Yeah,
and maybe the community there, they don't know. So here's what I found out.
Hold on, before you go on, Mark, hold on. Let me stop you for a second. And the reason why, in case you missed this, the important part about what Mark's talking about in Farmington and where the location was, because this bears investigation as well. That reason being is that according to reports and what we've learned so far is that the body was moved to a Farmington location, but no one has seemed to let anyone know where that location was. And even if those individuals in that area had been questioned, if they had seen anything suspicious, had noticed the smell of a rotting body, anything of that nature, because again, to get a timeline of when the body was moved and where.
So, Reese, this is what I found out Saturday, and with them being sketchy, is I heard she was held captive and starved and chained and died in Farmington. She wasn't brought there.
Okay.
I heard it happened in Farmington.
Okay, so that's where the death took place.
Piece of it. It's like, why wouldn't you want to say, hey, have anybody in the front, this is where they live? Listen, I get it. Believe me, the one thing about firefighters and cops know is mitigation is the only way mitigation works is to work on it quickly, gather as much as you want. Of course, you want to be respectful. This is horrific.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as uncomfortable as it is, you have to ask, like, why wouldn't you want to give the location in Farmington? Why wouldn't you ask for, now you got Ring cameras and Arlos and everything. I just heard at the presser, they weren't going to give the location because at least the reporters asked some, for the first time,
yeah.
I'm going to tell you, they asked some pretty good questions
right.
today, which is unusual.
Well, and they got no answers.
And they got no answers, but one of them was, what was the location? Well, at this time, it's too sensitive and this and that. I'm there like, well, wait a second. You want the public's help, but yet you're keeping the public in the dark.
Yeah, and again,
one thing that was,
I'm just saying, there's an important part that you're making here about saying that it's too sensitive. You've got to ask the question, because that would have been my follow-up. It's like, wait a minute, what's sensitive in nature? Are you concerned that somebody is going to contaminate the area? Like they don't live there anymore. What exactly is so sensitive about this location?
I don't get it. If you see things on a national scale when something bad happens, what do? They try to provide a mugshot, or they show you footage of things. They're trying to prompt you to, like, hey, you know what? That does look familiar. But in this case, you can't have it both ways. We want the community's involvement. Please, if you have any tips, but we're not going to tell you what we know.
Yeah, or where it even happened.
Some of it, you can't tell them everything. I get some of it. Believe me, I get that part of it. But the one thing that was really disturbing at that presser, obviously for those of you who want to go see, I suggest for anybody, and I'm not knocking Aaron, at this point, I'll tell you, for a while I felt bad for her. But where was Johanna Hayes?
Yeah.
That's her district in New Britain,
Yeah.
Where was my Senator Derek Slapp in West Hartford, who I've told you, this guy is unbelievable. He dials it in. He has no opponent. He covers Farmington. And never mind all the rest of them in New Britain, whether they were representatives or whatever. She was all by herself there.
I'm telling you, I know. Look, we all know the reason. We all know the reason why is because that community in particular, be it Hispanic, Latino, whatever they're being called this week, that is a sensitive area to bring attention to, because then, and again, in this statement that came from the communications director of New Britain, delicate investigations of this nature. There's nothing, what do you mean delicate investigations of a murder? That's never been dealt with delicately. A murder is a murder, and we go literally we go to the wall to find out what caused this and who's responsible. No one's ever looking at this in a delicate way, and the only reason why, like I said, they're showing their hand. It's delicate because, one, it involves the Hispanic community, and they don't want anybody to scrutinize them or scrutinize the community, and out of their own fears and their own sort of political correctness, that's what they're trying to do here. But, Mark, if you get any...
What's funny is, two quick things.
Yeah.
They want them down there. You should have seen, for those of you who go on Mark from West Hartford, one gentleman in the car hanging out the passenger side, I said, what if this was an affluent area, like Greenwich or Avon?
Yep.
And he even said it. They'd all be down here.
That's right.
But I want to leave you with this, and this needs to be fixed. And I'm going to call out just one lawmaker. You know how they always they'll present the law with the person, something might have been. I want to have something called Mimi's Law. No more mandated for mandated reporters.
Yeah.
There is no option to do DCF or police department. From now on, mandated reporters, somebody needs to work on it and make it a law.
That's right.
No more giving it to DCF.
That's right.
Because I'm telling you, they got so much blood on their hands. It's not even, they're bathed in blood.
Every year, it's something new. And every year. I got to take.
And why did they give them the option?
Exactly.
It should be police only.
Yeah,
All
their
right,
track
thank
record is
you.
never good. Thank you, boss man. I'll talk to you soon. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. We'll take your phone calls as well when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I'm retired, newly retired, so this was my first summer not working again. But I had problems with my shoulder. I mean, it was just like 1,000 needles going into my shoulder.
Mike didn't want surgery. 6 months in a sling was not how he planned to spend retirement. That's when he heard about QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
It's a free appointment. And after the first treatment, the next day, I went out and played golf. The pain just wasn't there.
No drugs, no surgery. Just your body's own natural healing power. Orthobiologic concentrated and placed exactly where you need them to go to work.
I couldn't have asked for a better experience. I don't want to take on Mike Tyson, but he'd know I was there.
Now Mike's heading back to QC Kinetics to get his knees treated.
It changed my first summer being retired. It's one I can remember instead of regret.
Get back to doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today to schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
For nearly 4 decades, Westside Oil has kept local families comfortable with heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and oil delivery services. Our family-owned business believes in quality you can trust with finance options to make upgrades affordable. Choose energy-efficient American Standard equipment and start saving on your utility bill today. Westside Oil, proud supplier of American Standard heating and air conditioning products, built to a higher standard.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of water heater issues a year. We know how much of an inconvenience no hot water is, and with our fully stocked trucks and warehouse, you can get your hot water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted professionals at Ayala Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P102776688, S1041347, D104014665, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I got a couple of minutes before we get traffic and weather. Let's go to Sarah in Berlin. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fine. What's up?
Was that a firefighter that was just on with you?
Mark Walsh from Mark of West Hartford, yes.
Yeah, okay. So I think that New Britain, I've been told not to drive down North Street. And North Street in New Britain intersects with Clark. And what's on the corner of North and Clark? St. Anne's Church. That church was built by the Italians 1,000,000 years ago.
Wow.
And a lot of people have moved away from it. And I'd like to say one thing. The city of New Britain doesn't want bad press because of the neighborhoods. And it's a good city, but there's a lot of problems, okay? And where was Father Israel Rivera, who is the pastor of St. Anne's and St. Mary's on Main Street? And St. Mary's is a Spanish church.
Right.
Where is everybody? Where are they?
It's such an important point to make. It's like these things used to bring out communities, Sarah, especially the death of a child. You know, I can think of hundreds of children by name that would bring everyone out, from Elizabeth Smart to Ethan Potts to Adam Walsh. Every kid I can think of, really, on the top of my head, that communities across the country would join together and be standing out there in solidarity saying, we'll never allow this to happen again. More and more community-based, sort of response would be the case. And the fact that this is not, and they're sort of shrugging their shoulders as to, I don't know, it seems weird to me that this young lady would get that response.
As soon as the announcement came out about a delicate situation, I thought, well, I never heard of anything like that.
Well, okay, so you were like me, Sarah, when you're like, whoever calls this a delicate situation?
I have no idea. And where is DCF? And where are all your school systems? I blame all of them.
Exactly. And again, most people need to step up, and God only knows if someone would actually demand that someone step up and say, why was this girl missing from every system you could think of, be it public education, homeschooling. If this child was truly being homeschooled, in some way there had to be some sort of registration of her in that program, and no one seems to have anything. And everybody's being told to deal with this delicately while they give no answers to any questions. It's astonishing, to tell you the truth. Absolutely.
And it's just a sad day for New Britain. I feel sorry for all of them. And the mayor wants to run for governor. She's done a fine job in New Britain. I don't even live there, but you know what? They need to find out what's going on in all these communities, and people are afraid today. That's the bottom line.
That is very.
I can understand that.
You know what? That is the running theme, Sarah. Thank you so much. It's the fear part.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good day.
You too. Yeah, the fear part. That's it. Everywhere you look, communities are afraid. In some cases, afraid of their own shadow. Hey, let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, when we return on the next hour, I've got some good news for you, by the way, when we return. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading toward Hartford right now, you're on the eastbound side of 84. You're going to see a little slow traffic moving 46 into the downtown tunnel. Westbound side of 84 is a little slow approaching the Bulkley Bridge. South 191 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. And you'll see more slow traffic 20 Country Club Road in Middletown down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Northbound side of 91. Overall, that looks pretty good. Cromwell through downtown up at Windsor. 291 through 84 okay. 2 eastbounds moving well. Glastonbury into Marlboro. 84 westbound, some slow traffic, 36 Slater Road to 33. The 72 interchange in Plainville, a little slow 2 up to the 84 west merge on 72 west. If you're heading into Waterbury, some tight traffic, 26 to 25. 84 eastbound's a little slow by 18. If you're traveling southbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway, look for delays now from exit 52 down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound's a little slow, 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The rest of this afternoon, windy areas of rain from our tropical rainstorm. Wet roads, lower visibility may lead to some travel disruptions and a high of 56. Some rain again tonight from the tropical rainstorm and a low 51. A breezy day tomorrow with areas of drizzle early on. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and a high of 60. Becoming clear tomorrow night and a low of 50. Sunshine, some clouds on Wednesday, a breezy afternoon, and a high of 63. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC at 1080 News. We have cloudy skies with rain and a temperature of 52 degrees. The mother and aunt of a 12-year-old murder victim, originally from Farmington, are now under arrest According to police, the remains of Jacqueline Torres were found in a container behind an abandoned home in New Britain last week. Police say they were decomposed. Farmington Police Chief Paul Melanson says they believe Jacqueline died in the fall of last year.
It is also believed that following her death, Jacqueline's body was kept in the family's basement and subsequently moved when the family relocated from Farmington.
Now, the family moved in March. It is unclear where. Police think the girl was subject to prolonged physical abuse and malnourishment prior to her death. Now, the mother, Carla Garcia, is charged with murder, being held now on a $5 million bond. In addition, the child's aunt is also charged with cruelty to a person under the age of 19. Her bond's set at $1 million. There's also an arrest warrant out for Carla's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita. He is also charged with murder, and police are asking for the public's help in trying to find him. President Trump gathered with world leaders in Egypt to declare peace in the Middle East after his peace plan for Gaza.
After years of suffering and bloodshed, the war in Gaza is over. Humanitarian aid is now pouring in, including hundreds of truckloads of food and medical equipment and other supplies, much of it paid for by people in this room. Civilians are returning to their homes. The hostages are reuniting. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm just watching it backstage. The level of love and sorrow, I've never seen anything like it.
Reporter Robert Berger in Jerusalem with more on the difficulties that still lie ahead.
It's caused deep wounds. For instance, Israelis are very skeptical about the possibility of peace with the Palestinians. We have a ceasefire. President Trump was talking about peace. I think Israelis are skeptical about peace. And then, of course, on the Palestinian side, you have over 65,000 people killed, the territory in Gaza totally destroyed. You're going to have animosity from the families of all the people who have been killed. So it's going to be very difficult to heal these wounds.
A nor'easter continues to pound much of the East Coast. Lisa Conti lives in Broadkill Beach, Delaware, says she hadn't seen the weather like this in quite some time. Wind gusts have approached 60 miles an hour in some parts of the Northeast. Meantime, along the eastern seaboard, they've been feeling it, and we have here in Connecticut as well. Some minor coastal flooding reported. Trees and power lines came down elsewhere, knocking out power to thousands. Zach Zool came out to see for himself what Mother Nature had wrought.
I just wanted to see like the high tide just to make sure that, you know, like the houses are okay and, you know, that the flood isn't, you know, happening. You know, just wanted to make sure that my house was going to be okay.
Audio there from WFSB. At last check, Eversource had just over 6,200 of its customers without service. Police in Waterbury have arrested a New Britain woman after they say she crashed a stolen BMW over the weekend. Officers were in the area of Wall Street Saturday when they spotted the BMW colliding with a fence at 78 Wall Street. Shortly thereafter, detectives determined the vehicle had been stolen. Under arrest is 18-year-old Jaylani Ortiz of New Britain. She was hospitalized with minor injuries following the wreck, now facing a number of charges, including theft of a motor vehicle, interfering with police, evading responsibility, criminal mischief, and other offenses. Wall Street, the Dow up 587 points. NASDAQ up 490. S&P ahead 102. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Do you owe $10,000 credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-1164.
Here we go.
390-1164. 800-390-1164.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We'll get to some more news and plenty of views. We've got, let me see, Antifa. Everyone seems to know they don't exist collectively, which is kind of weird. Also, we'll talk about this Substack this week on my webpage. And also, Don Lemon doesn't know that he's stupid. He doesn't. We'll give you an example of all of that. Plus your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. Let's do the thing.
Savory, flavory, bagel, deli, and bakery. Between rounds, between rounds, between rounds.
Today's winner of the dozen bagels a month for 6 months goes to Christopher A. in New Britain, ironically. He will be receiving a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. If you would like to participate in this contest, you just got to go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Enter your name, your telephone number, and, of course, your address and all that good stuff and your date of birth. Do not forget your date of birth. You must live in the state of Connecticut. You cannot have won within the last 6 months. You can apply as many times as you like if, you like to, secure your chances of winning. Just do that. We pick them randomly, and as soon as we get them, we send you an email to let you know that you've won. And then at this time, every weekday, we tell you who that winner is. Also, if you'd like to help out the food share program, go down to Between Rounds at any one of its locations, again, in South Windsor, Vernon, or Manchester, and pick up a Becca. And that's a Becca bagel. It's bacon, egg, and cheese, chipotle, mayo, and avocado. 50 cents of that purchase will go to the Connecticut Food Share. That's how you can help them. Not those silly little ideas like, license plates where the money doesn't go to Food Share. God, what a racket. Anyway, help out Food Share. Do that. I understand what the guy who runs Food Share is a Jet fan. Yeah, buddy, you need all the help you can get. I'm just trying to help you, buddy, because you are suffering like I do. If there's anybody hungry, it's you and I for a win. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. And we've got, who do we got in weather today? I actually wrote it down. Scott Homan, meteorologist, has got weather today. And Mark Christopher, we have Kool and the Gang on Wednesday the 22nd.
Ooh, la, la.
Yeah, they're going to come in. We're going to talk about...
Let's go dancing.
We're going to talk about every song except Celebrate, because
that's their
hate
worst
that
song. That's their worst song. They're probably the most popular song, and as far as hit music radio, but their worst song.
It is. I will tell you this. You know what drives me nuts? Is like I will go to a wedding, and I remember one year I went to a wedding, a lot of weddings, and most of the weddings I went to, they chose a band instead of a DJ, and they all played Celebrate. I had to leave the venue.
Time. That song, I just did a wedding Saturday night. That song doesn't get played unless it's requested, and sometimes they have to come up twice.
Really?
To remind me to play.
You'll ignore it.
I'm like, oh, no.
You know what's another song I can't stand? Is that this is going to be mad. Because every band does it. Cameo's Word Up.
Really?
I can't stand it.
I love Cameo.
I know. I love
Larry
Cameo,
Blackman?
too. Oh, no,
I like Word Up.
I know the man personally, and I tell him all the time. Okay. Yes, I told him to his face. I said, I can't stand that song, man.
What did he say?
Well, he goes, everybody has their own taste. He was very nice about it. I told him it's not his fault. It's bands who do Word Up at weddings that made me. Now, this is the song.
Candy.
That's the track. I grew up to this record. This is R&B radio right here.
Good stuff. How about this one?
Oh, you can't go wrong with this one either.
She's strange,
yes.
Man.
I'll give it to Larry Blackman. He was the only person who did not reject rap in his songs.
No.
He practically rapped, because a lot of people in R&B hated rap music. But Larry Blackman embraced it.
That's one funky dude right there.
He is.
No question about it. All right. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, we got a little bit of delay here and there. Nothing major this afternoon so far. We're doing okay. Southbound 91 delays from 33 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. This traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you're heading into Hartford on the northbound side of 91, that looks good. Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is a little tight as you approach the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84, okay. 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound's a little slow at the Aragodi Bridge in Middletown. 91 southbound delays approaching 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Westbound 84, Cheshire into Waterbury's tight 26 to 25. 84 eastbound slowing by exit 18 in Waterbury. Southbound Parkway, look for delays 53 in Hamden down to the West Rock Tunnel. Northbound on the Parkway, a little slow moving up on exit 46. And southbound 91 delays from exit 6 down in toward the 95 interchange in New Haven. Traffic got you down? Turn that frown upside down at Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They offer fast, efficient dental implant procedures completed and a single visit, open 7 days a week. For your convenience, don't wait. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
The dog days of summer are fading quickly. Hurry to get this limited-time preseason offer. Call ALO Home Services today and take advantage of their $99 heating system check special. Prevent costly and inconvenient breakdowns backed by a worry-free, no-breakdown guarantee. Call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO, licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P10277688, S10413487, D10401465, S33086999, SM3004646, E1185643.
We know you're psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is... me!
That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, a couple of great comments that I'm getting so far. Albert writes in the Reese on the Radio chat room, he says, Connecticut does not want to bring too much publicity to this matter about little Mimi Torres's death because of all of the illegals here. We should notify Trump and DHS of this horrific story. And again, I think that's what I was suggesting, Albert, is the fact that, look, this is what's always believed about certain communities, that if you chastise one as an individual for their wrongdoing, it's the impression that everyone will be held accountable or everyone will be criticized, that we aren't smart enough to just deal with it in an isolated way. But because government has a tendency to paint everybody with one, broad brush, that they think you can't. So they will see this as an overall Hispanic issue instead of this young girl's, mother and aunt and quite possibly her mother's boyfriend's responsible for this girl's death. That we can actually look at this in the way that it should be, that the death of this girl is wrong. But of course, again, you get a statement like this, delicate investigation. I don't understand what's so delicate about it. Craig in the chat room also says, I'm not sure what statements people are looking for Mayor Stewart to make. Wasn't Jacqueline just identified? Yes, you're right. But I want to say this to that comment. And you're right. Like, what could she possibly say? Well, it's usually what any mayor or government official should say. It's usually blather, and it's usually, it's one template. But it is something that should be said. So I responded to him by saying something to the effect of police are investigating how the girl's death went undetected and expecting the full weight of the law to come down on those responsible. Again, is it a platitude? Yes, but it shows leadership. You are saying, yeah, I'm expecting the investigation to go forward. I have faith and confidence in the people and the investigators in New Britain to get to the bottom of this. But to stand there and not know how to respond, that people are expecting you. It's part of your job description as the mayor. Not that it happened under your watch, not that it happened because you wouldn't, your neglect or anything like that. It's not about that. It is about responding when a tragedy falls on your city. It just is. And I know a lot of people say it was like, what was she supposed to do? It's not about what she was supposed to do. It's what she's supposed to say. It's expected of you. It's in the job description. Everybody knows that. An extra comment to help boost it. Oh, thank you, man. Let me say it. I'm with you on the song Celebration. We had it on the do not playlist at our wedding, Karen says. Karen, I don't mean to put you through this, but if you could, just indulge me. Can you please put in the chat room if there were other songs on there so that I can respond to them? I really want to know your taste in music now that I know that Celebration was on the do not playlist. If there was a do not playlist, I want every song. I want every one of them. That's important to me because, and I'll tell you what, it's personal, but it would be effective to what I'm trying to do. If you can list those songs, I want to give them to my wife because she does not understand what the words unsanctioned music means. She has got I'm sorry. I shouldn't say it like that. I'm messing up. She has a particular taste in music. Let's say that diplomatically. And I'm not always a fan. Every time she sings the song, she looks at me and she goes, "You hate that song, don't you?" It's not about hate, sweetheart. It isn't about hate. It's just some songs that I just think are just bad. I don't think that they're really, really good. Right up there with Hokey Pokey, which actually I played at the last wedding I DJ'd. That was asked for the wedding. Apple and her husband asked for that song, the Hokey Pokey, and made everybody in the wedding do it. At the reception, made everybody do it. What was I going to get into today? Oh, yes, Antifa. Okay, stand by. This doesn't make sense. So according to reports, Antifa does not exist. And I am having a hard time understanding how. I am 100% positive that Antifa exists. I don't think that they are the Tooth Fairy. I don't think that they are Santa Claus. I think that Antifa exists. But why do I think Antifa exists? Because the media says that they don't.
There's no Antifa. This is an entirely imaginary organization. There is not an Antifa.
I don't even know what Antifa is. There is no group.
It's not even like far-right groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Compared to right-wing extremists, Antifa-linked violence is rare and limited.
It isn't an organization. It is in many ways mythology.
It's not like the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers, sort of defined terrorist organizations with leadership that leads violence.
It's not a highly organized movement. It's a moniker. It's not a unified group like the Proud Boys are.
Things like Antifa are things that are thought up.
It's all in this guise of going after Antifa, which is nothing. There's no organization called Antifa.
Nobody's a member of Antifa because it doesn't exist. They are just declaring into existence something that doesn't exist.
There is no Antifa organization, so maybe that's good for social media.
but it really is non-existent.
They exist on the internet in chat rooms and in 4chan and Discord and places like that, where they run discussion boards, trade tactics, documents, things like that. But none of them are called Antifa.
Now, when I heard all of that supercut, that there is no Antifa, I kept asking myself, how do they all know that something doesn't exist? That seemed odd to me. Like, everyone seems to know, like Donald Trump holds a round table with a bunch of journalists who have experienced violence and other altercations with a group known as Antifa, calls themselves Antifa, has flags, and have been seen carrying its handbook proudly. And the news media all gathers around and says that there is no such thing collectively. And in fact, they say it with this confidence. It doesn't exist. Antifa isn't a thing. And in my head, I'm sitting there going, how can you all know that a thing doesn't exist? And one of those people in that was Joy Behar. And another person was Chuck Todd. And another person was Representative Dan Goldman of New York. These people who probably have crossed paths in some sort of way seem to understand the existence, or in their case, the non-existence of a group that we've all seen, that we've all in some way have experienced in our lives. And these people are telling us that they don't exist, which got me also thinking as to why would they say Antifa doesn't exist? Let me explain why. You remember in the opening monologue where it was Donald Trump versus the news media? Whatever the story was, they claimed it was untrue. Every major news network said that this didn't exist. That's not true. Wuhan Lab, not true. Wuhan Lab leak, not true. Turns out to be true. Here's what the problem is. And it's real simple. Donald Trump has an ability to make a threat a real threat. He has an ability to get plenty of people to believe in whatever he's talking about, and this is a concern on the left. And what they say is, and I looked this up yesterday. In fact, was it yesterday? Last week. Someone said in the chat room that they were concerned about Donald Trump's rhetoric. And they said Donald Trump has the biggest voice box and the biggest bully pulpit of ever. And whatever he says, people will respond to. I said, okay, that's true. I looked it up. Donald Trump is just a little more influential than Xi Jinping, but he's at the top of the tier. He's the most influential politician ever. Ever. He just is. And I kept asking myself after I read that, that's what the problem is. It's because people believe Donald Trump that people will actually go above and beyond to counter him. His influence is problematic to them. They failed at influencing people the way that they're supposed to. They don't care that they've been debunked. They only care about being in opposition, because who they care about is the small few, that's redundant, but the few who will believe them and go out on their behalf and repeat the same nonsense. They don't care about those people. They don't care about being wrong every day. They don't care about how wrong they are by everything that comes out of their mouth. They don't care if it's provably false. the stuff that they repeat, but they will repeat it anyway and move on and act like nothing ever happened. And you can say, hey, remember that time when you said blah, 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 blah? Yeah, but that's old. Why are we going back there? Are we going to relitigate that? But this one's true. And then that's debunked, and it's the same thing over and over again. It's because they don't care about truth. Neither any of these people. They don't care about truth. The only thing they have is a job. Their job is to spread the agenda. Antifa is not real. Doesn't matter how many times Andy No gets hit with a bike chain. They're not real. No matter how many independent reporters who are female are punched in the face and show up on Jesse Waters with a black eye, Antifa is not real. They're a figment of your imagination. Yeah, I don't know anything about the handbook that Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, was photographed holding in his hand, posting on Twitter at the time, calling the book The Handbook of Antifa, Donald Trump's biggest fear, now saying publicly, I don't know what Antifa is. They're not real. Even though that we can prove that the guy is read the Antifa handbook because he posted it on his own Twitter feed. So again, it's worse off that the people who would normally scream right after these folks the same bit, that they don't turn around and look at their leaders and even tweet back at them and say, hey, can you stop saying they're not real? We know that they're real, okay? You look silly. You're making the rest of us look silly. I can't repeat that nonsense, okay? Could you just delete that? Just don't do that. It's bad. But, then again, I can't expect these people to have an ounce of integrity either. Also, I want to give a shout out to Ned Lamont, if I could. Governor Ned Lamont wrote this today. Connecticut is home to countless people with Italian roots as well as indigenous people who have called our state home for thousands of years. Communities whose culture, food, and traditions shape who we are as a state. Today, we honor their stories, resilient and lasting impact. To which I responded to the governor, dude, just say Happy Columbus Day and move on, wuss. Damn, you're afraid of your own shadow. Just say Happy Columbus Day. It's okay now. It doesn't mean you don't support indigenous people. Just say Happy Columbus Day and move on. Jeez, man. I told you these folks are scared to death. Scared of their own shadow. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Scott Holman's got weather. Mark Christopher, he's at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
There's your governor singing Imagine. Imagine all us living in harmony on Indigenous People Day.
Imagine him growing a spine. How about that?
QC Kinetics, right?
There you go.
Can they pump some stuff into him and regrow part of his body? QC Kinetics, I think that's the place to go.
There you go.
If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91, look for delays 33 down to 32 A and B. South of downtown, a little slow down by exit 17 and Meriden. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Winter. Westbound 84 is tight up approaching the Boakby Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, a little slow, 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84, okay. 2 westbound and 2 eastbound moving well. East Hartford into Glastonbury. Quiet Middletown. If you are traveling 84 westbound, look for delays 37 Finneman Road in Farmington out to exit 33, the 72 interchange in Plainville. 72 westbound slowing from exit 2 up to the 84 west merge. Westbound 84 in Cheshire slowing 26 up to exit 25, again 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Waterbury slowing 17 to 18. Southbound on the Wilbur-Cross Parkway delays 53 in Hamden into the West Rock Tunnel. Northbound on the Parkway slowing 46 into the West Rock, and 95 southbound, you got delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The remainder of this afternoon windy with periods of rain from our tropical rainstorm, wet roads and lower visibility. could lead to some travel disruptions and a high of 56. Tonight, some rain from the tropical rainstorm and a low 51, and a breezy day tomorrow, mainly in the morning, then areas of drizzle early on also. Otherwise, plenty of clouds and a high of 60. Becoming clear tomorrow night, low of 50, and we'll see sunshine return on Wednesday, breezy with a high of 63. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A path to peace in the Middle East. President Trump was in Egypt to witness the signing of the agreement that netted a ceasefire and exchange of hostages and prisoners between Israel and Hamas after 2 years of bloodshed. President in Egypt to sign that accord. 20 remaining living hostages held in Gaza, scores of Palestinian prisoners held by Israel walking free. 4 bodies of deceased hostages also returned to Israel today. An arrest made, or two arrests made in connection with the discovery of a child's remains in the city of New Britain last week. The remains of Jessica Torres were found in a large container in the rear of a house, an abandoned house in New Britain. Under arrest are her mother and her aunt, charged with murder. They're also looking for the mother's boyfriend in connection with this case. Teenagers in the hospital after Hartford police say he was shot Sunday night. Officers dispatched to an area of 305 Enfield Street. That's where they say the shooting occurred and where they found the 17-year-old victim with non-life-threatening injuries. State police investigating a deadly crash in the town of Sharon. Troopers there say the crash occurred on Saturday around 3 p.m. 17-year-old Shay Cassidy Titi of that area was a passenger in a vehicle that ran off the road on Route 44 and hit a tree. Meriden police on the lookout for a pair of suspects in a string of robberies over the last couple of days. They say one suspect knocked over 2 gas stations, another hit a pair of pizza restaurants. Anyone with information is being asked to call police. We have surveillance video stills of the 2 suspects posted to the website at WTIC.com. Wall Street, the Dow gained 587 points today. NASDAQ picked up 490, and the S&P was up 102 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how retailers become constantly connecting must-visit shops. How restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month. And ask about a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, and is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Joey V says, hey, Reese, the real politician I want to hear from concerning Columbus Day is Rosa DeLauro. Couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more. She should be saying something about Columbus Day, but she probably won't. Again, these folks are afraid of their own shadow. It's actually sad. Don't forget to go to reeseontheradio.com, folks. That's REESE on the radio.com. You can check out the new Substack called Not All Illegals Are the Same. I was talking to you last week about this tax lie that's being spread about illegals and what they contribute to taxes. And, again, it was just as simple as I kept listening to the story. I'm going, two things cannot be true. You can't take in 10 million people over the last 4 years and then suggest that all of them are contributing hundreds of millions of dollars to the federal tax when they were on the dole when they got here, be it hotels, Medicaid, everything. The money they received on the EBT cards, plus the cash, plus having their rent paid for them. How could any of those folks be contributing to the tax burden? And it's just not true. So if you go to reeseontheradio.com, that's REESE on the radio.com, scroll down to the Substack so you can subscribe and you can read my latest Substack, which again is titled, Not All Illegals Are the Same. It will give you an itemized breakdown to the lie, especially the one that I love the most, rental tax. And if any of you out there rent, I know a lot of you own your own home, but if you actually have rented, ask yourself, when did you ever pay $1,800 plus tax on your rental? Never at all. But yet, for some odd reason, they're including that in the tally. They're saying that illegals are paying rental tax, and it's such a brilliant sleight of hand. They're saying that by paying your $1,800 a month in rent, because of the homeowner who pays a property tax, that the renter, the illegal, is contributing to that. That's what they're suggesting. It's the craziest sleight of hand ever. It's absolutely incredible. And where they get those numbers from, I don't even understand. So, and the truth is, and I guess the way to break it down, and I'm hoping that you'll read the article, the breakdown is what they're saying is that there are people who have been in the country clearly. Illegals have been here for a long time. Some people have been here 10, 15, 20 years. And you'll notice that when you have this conversation with folks, they'll say, what about the people who have been here for 15, 20 years? We're not really arguing about those folks. But if they are committing crimes, they got to go. But we're talking about the people who were let in within the last 4 or 5 years. Those folks, they can't be allowed to stay. They just can't. Sorry. Just can't. We'll talk about it some more when we return. Don Lemon doesn't know he's dumb, folks. He doesn't. We'll break that down as well. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading toward Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, look for some slow traffic 33 down to 32 A and B. If you're on the northbound side of 91, that is moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is a little tight as you approach the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, just a little slow down 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. You'll lose a little speed again out by the 384 interchange at exit 59. 291, 384, okay, 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound's a little slow at the Aragoni. If you're traveling westbound 84 in Cheshire, slowing 26 up to 25 in Waterbury. Again, 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound's a little tight by 18 in Waterbury. If you're traveling southbound on the Parkway, delays 53 in Hamden into the West Rock. Northbound Parkway slowing, approaching 46 into the West Rock Tunnel. And 95 southbound delays 46 down to exit 43 in West Haven. And if you are traveling right now in the Southington area, look out for an accident involving a tractor trailer. 84 eastbound between 28 and 30 in the right shoulder there. Just use caution. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by NJM Insurance Group.
Why is NJM Insurance silent in an industry full of catchy jingles? And how do they do what's right when things go wrong? Tune into Baffling Mysteries to find out.
This fictional podcast is brought to you by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
WTIC weather.
Have bad teeth that need to be replaced? Don't like removable dentures? Worry no more. Come on down to Columbia Implant Center in Manchester any day of the week and ask for the All-on-4 procedure. Call us at 860-643-1898.
Slow? Clogged? Backed up? Don't worry. ALO Home Services has you covered. For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. License number HIC 628926, P10277688, S10413487, D10401465, S3308699. SM3004646, E1185643.
You're listening Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most
Is that
pressing
sour
leaf-related
person the same one who
questions.
just called?
Hey, everybody, Chris here, and Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the Radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On NewsTalk 1080, WTIC.
And they never will be. I want to just give another round of applause. I'm wearing my Got Freedom t-shirt today for the 20 hostages that were freed in Israel today. We don't want to not recognize them. As everyone else is talking about them, I just want to make sure that I showed some solidarity with those families in Israel. They got their loved ones back. And for those of you who know that there are plenty who were lost, they'll be getting their loved ones and their remains soon enough. And we hope that there's at least some closure there to some degree as the peace talks are going on. I'll read Matty O's comment in a second. Let me get to the phones, then we'll get to Don Lemon. Let's go to Fritz the cat. What's going on, my man?
Hey, Reese, it's been a while. Haven't seen you since August.
I know.
Silver Sun pickups. Hey, you have heard of what do you call it? Where the media keeps telling the same lie over and over and over, like deflection.
Yeah.
So, Mike, I'm going back to what you're talking about when they said Antifa doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're drilling that into people's heads so that way someday they can say, Antifa was never at January 6th. They don't exist.
Yes. And again, that's what the talking point is. They do know they have some influence with members of the left. And to drive that talking point as some sort of wedge issue between folks, that when we talk about Antifa, or anyone talks about Antifa, you have these sort of screaming factions who will go, but they don't exist. It's not a real thing. And of course, Antifa gets to operate, it's sort of secretly, but that's not even the worst part. I will tell you this, no matter to the left or anybody else for that matter, if they exist, I do have confirmation that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are going after certain individuals. There's a report that I'll be talking about tomorrow, who are funding these organizations. And of course, you won't be surprised who they are. Let's just say Kim from Northern Connecticut will be calling tomorrow. That's all I need to say.
You're missing out. By the now, all the fall foliage just started.
I know. Listen, I got 2 weeks. I promise you, I can't wait until I get there. I'm so excited. It's just 2 weeks, and I don't even mind the drive. I'm getting closer and closer to it, and I'm getting more and more excited. And at the same time, apprehensive because, it's going to be living like I'm going to be living there again in 20 years. It's going to be hell of a different sort of atmosphere for me. I've gotten used to where I live now. Now I get used to Connecticut again.
If you're coming in 2 weeks, I think you're still going to see some foliage.
Oh, I can't wait.
Just starting in Bristol.
I can't wait. And that's the thing I'm looking for, is to drive with the window down and to feel that cool breeze and hear the leaves rustling in the background. I'm sorry, folks. There's nothing else like it in the world in New England. There's nothing else like it.
All right.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Let's go to my good friend, Frank Maizan. What's up, buddy?
Well, I was happy that everything worked out in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But as long as Iran has that regime around, and this generation of people over there have been, growing up hating Israelis and Jews, I think this will last as long as Trump is in power. And as soon as he leaves, they'll be right back to where they were again. I hate to say that.
Okay, no. And listen, that is a fair argument to make because you don't get another guy like Donald Trump. And if he's gone, you sort of wonder if the cat's away, if the mice will play, right? It's like nobody has that kind of gravitas that Donald Trump has, so they can abuse it because Donald Trump isn't there to hold them to account. And you always wonder if the next, sort of form of leadership in the United States is going to hold them to that deal. But if I had to ask you a question, Frank, if let's say, let's go on the deep end here, who would you choose to hold the Trump mantle, at least for the next 4 years, beyond the 3? Who would that guy be that has something that sort of has that same gravitas that Trump has? Who would it be?
I just don't know. I know one thing: it's not a Democrat. What else is a Democrat?
Okay, well, how about this one, Frank? I'll give you. Listen, let me give you some choices. Let's say J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, and to just spitballing as a third, Tulsi Gabbard.
Well, it's not going to be J.D. Vance. That guy worries me because, he doesn't understand that who our biggest enemy is, China.
Okay.
Because he came out and said the Chinese people are peasants. That's one of the most ridiculous things I've heard in my lifetime. These are very intelligent people.
It's not that they aren't intelligent, but a large swath, the population overall is a peasant culture. That's the reason why they're underhealed. It's not a very wealthy country. It's a very isolated few that live like sort of with modern technology, if you will.
Right, but the government is out to destroy us. Gold went up another $100+ today. One of the reasons why gold is going up is in the last 15 years, China is dumping our treasuries and buying gold. They're out to destroy. See, they know if they could damage the U.S. dollar, which is the world's reserve currency, if they damage.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know that's their plan. They wish to make the currency, get the currency or the global currency out of America's hands. And I don't even know what they're going to create that would actually change it. I know it's not going to be the yen.
They saw what Joe Biden did with Russia with the sanctions. They froze Russia's $350 billion of assets. So what they had them over, I think it was $1.1 trillion of our treasuries.
Yeah.
Once they saw that, they said, the hell with that. We got to start dumping these treasuries because what happens if they do it to us? So they dumped the treasuries and they had gold sent to them. Well, once you have possession of gold like I do, possession is 99% of the law. Who's going to take it? Who's going to take it from you?
So again, you've got nobody. You think after Trump is gone in 3 years, you think calamity back in the Middle East. You don't think anybody. What if? Wait, but hold on. I'll go one step further before I go to another call. What if it proves positive that everyone's flourishing? Gaza is repaired. That everybody's living in some not opulence, but at least there's real productivity in those regions. Between trade and all that other stuff. You think they go back to war?
Well, Reese, here's my question to you. For 4,000 years, they've had that opportunity. These are the only group of people I know in the history of the world that don't want to seem to benefit themselves. I told you, if I was a Muslim and every day read the Quran, when the prime minister said to me, Frank, your family's been living in Gaza, for the last centuries. You're poor. You've got nothing. I'm going to offer you prosperity. I'm going to sign right away. But see, that's me, though. I don't know how.
Yeah, I know. I do believe you're 100% right. But remember, one of the things that they sell to a lot of the poor Palestinian people is that they're poor because Jews are wealthy. So if the component of that agita, right, a component of that adversarial nature is about poverty or an opportunity to flourish, if that's a part of it, then you just cater to that, and maybe you'll get a change around. That's just my opinion. That's all I'm thinking.
not for hundreds and hundreds of years. And you look across the view, and they got beautiful homes. They're driving nice cars. They got nice clothes. They're eating well.
Yeah, but
that's
you know
not gonna
what?
work.
People, you know what? Human nature is human nature. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Frank. Let me get to one more over here. Dave is in Brantford. Hello, sir.
Well, how are you, Reese?
I'm pretty good.
Happy Columbus Day.
Thank you.
Happy Columbus Day. I do want to observe, we have a 32-inch bronze statue of Columbus that about the time they took the statue out of the park in Worcester Square in New Haven, we brought it out of the backyard. Mostly keep it in the front yard, though I'm always afraid it'll be stolen. And I started thinking about if you wanted to get a card, a greetings card, there's no Columbus greeting cards for that holiday. And if you wanted an image or a likeness at a garden center, I mean, you can get Mother Mary. For Christmas, you can get any number of Snowman and Santa Claus, the Grinch. For 4th of July, you can get Uncle Sam. Just try to find a statue of Columbus anywhere, made out of cement. They don't exist. It's about as easy to get as the image and likeness of Mohammed, which means you can't find it at all.
Wait.
And,
Now, do you think that with the proclamation or the executive order by President Trump that'll change next year or within the next year?
No, I don't, because the popular media, there's a conspiracy. I was listening to NPR this morning. I think they had some guy whose last name was, I think it was called Noise Cat or something. He was talking about a coyote, it's like a spooky kind of a meme that's part of Indian lore from up in Canada, and the local news is talking about the pizza trail in Connecticut and Hispanic month in our neck of the woods, and nothing about Columbus. It's awful. And one last thing on Antifa. I think it was about 2018 when they were having Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah. Well, Occupy Wall Street is 2011.
Was it that far back?
Yeah, that far back.
Ben Shapiro had come to town, and they had the usual black face covering thugs that were following him around on the green. And the front cover picture, I wish I had saved it, was a woman with the face mask with her leg extended, kicking Ben Shapiro in the butt. And you could look, if you look closely in the picture, there was somebody holding a Russian flag with the hammer and sickle.
That's right.
It was right behind the lead group. Those were clearly Antifa people.
Yep.
Taking over the socialist downtown New Haven stuff. They are alive and well. They exist. I've seen them myself.
I couldn't believe that actually people twisted their mouth to say that they were a myth. Thank you, boss. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You got it. Ralph is in South Carolina. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon. Couple things. If the people were going after Murphy's phone, he would have a totally different attitude and outlook. And this is what bothers me. And it goes for both sides, Reese.
Okay.
They're nothing but, and they're nothing, as far as I'm concerned, Republicans are a lot better, but they're not. These are the lowest life forms on the planet. They really are. They're politicians. And let me ask you a question. What does Nazi stand for, Reese?
The National Socialist Party.
There you go. And these are the socialists calling the Republicans socialists.
There's an interesting background to that too, but I get your point. I totally get your point, and I appreciate it. Let me get to this Don Lemon thing, Ralph. I appreciate you, boss man. Let me play this bit real quick. Speaking of the whole supercut of Antifa doesn't exist, I want to get this out real quick before we get into Hollywood news, and I got 2 movies I need to talk about. So Don Lemon, who's worked in CNN for a lot of his career, is very famous and notorious as being a newsman. And people have mocked him online, and now that he has a show that's online on YouTube, he's out doing man-on-the-street interviews, actually dealing with the public, communicating with folks, a job that a thing that he had never done during his career, because he had always been inside of the offices of CNN around his elites and people who agree with him in his own little bubble. Well, as you know, he's been doing these man on the streets, and this happened, folks. This is real. This is not made up.
Okay, crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not a criminal act. It's a
Okay.
misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Okay, as somebody that
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law, most people will say, okay, then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not, why are they being rounded up and sent out? Especially when he promised to deport the criminals. And now he's not doing that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going.
Yeah.
So misdemeanor is not
It's
a
not
crime?
a criminal act. No, if you get charged with a misdemeanor, that's not a criminal
Why
act.
get charged at all then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No,
It's just
we
a
have
different level.
different levels of. No, I shouldn't say crime, but it's not It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
So it's breaking the law.
No,
the law, but it's
you're
just
not
a
breaking the
different
law.
level of
Misdemeanor is not
crime.
breaking the law.
No.
If you're speeding, drinking, get pulled over, DUI.
That's not a criminal act. Well, no,
It's a
if you're
misdemeanor.
speeding, is a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor.
Right.
So it's still breaking the law.
Okay, well, if you want to qualify that, we're doing semantics.
Because
But
why
what
would
I'm
you
saying,
get pulled over?
but what I'm trying to tell you is everything is not the same. It's all not one thing.
But is it the law?
What is it? The law that what?
Is it a law to come
Is
over
there a
legally?
law?
Is there a law?
There are rules that are processes that you should follow. Yeah, so you're breaking rules. You're breaking the rules, but you're not necessarily breaking a law.
So what happens when you break the rules?
Then you suffer the consequences. But the consequences should not. Look, no one is saying no one should suffer the consequences. You guys are getting things mixed up.
I'm sorry, folks. He really does not know that he is dumb. He's not ignorant. He does not. He is too stupid to know that he is dumb. That's all it is. This guy has had a career on CNN somewhat 20 years, I think. Some 20 years. He has no idea how stupid he is. Not a clue. None. And he is there arguing, knowing damn well that he's literally talking himself into a circle, saying that a misdemeanor is not a crime. It's breaking the rules. And breaking the rules is not breaking the law, because rules are not laws. Are there punishments for breaking the rules? Yes. So that would be breaking the law. No, it's not. And then says that they are confused. This guy is a respected member. He is a respected member of the news media. And again, not one person checked him. Not even the people who agree with him and know that man. Not one person said, hey, listen, yes, your slip is showing. Pull up your pants. You look silly. Richard says, Negro nonsense. Indeed, my friend. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Oh, I'm so sorry, but it's the truth. Scott Holman, he's got weather. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, man.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're 91 northbound, look out for an accident between exit 23 and 24 in Rocky Hill and 91 North. I see one vehicle in the left shoulder. It might be another vehicle sitting in that left lane there, so look out for a slowdown there. If you are traveling on the southbound side of 91, it's a little slow, 33 down to 32A and B. In Hartford westbound, 84, tap of the brakes coming out of the tunnel out to 45. Flatbush, 84 eastbound, looking good now. Farmington out into Vernon. 291, 384, okay east of the river. 2 eastbound, moving well. Glastonbury to Marlboro, quiet Middletown. Northbound on the Parkway, look out for an accident in the construction area in Meriden between exits 64A and 64B. Look for delays back to 62 behind that. Westbound 84 is tied up approaching 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing by 18. Southbound Parkway delays 53 in Hamden into the West Rock. Northbound on the Parkway, some slow traffic 46 into the West Rock Tunnel. In 95 southbound New Haven's tight 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The remainder of this afternoon, windy with periods of rain from our tropical rainstorm. Wet roads and lower visibility could lead to some travel disruptions and a high of 56. Tonight, some rain from the tropical rainstorm and a low 51, and a breezy day tomorrow, mainly in the morning, then areas of drizzle early on also. Otherwise, plenty of clouds and a high of 60. Becoming clear tomorrow night, low of 50, and we'll see sunshine return on Wednesday, breezy with a high of 63. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 55 degrees with rain. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Disturbing details in the death of a 12-year-old girl originally from Farmington and what happened to her body afterward. Last week, New Britain police located the remains of 12-year-old Jacqueline Torres in a container behind an abandoned home. 2 family members are now in custody, as we hear from WTIC's Dave Mager.
Police say the evidence suggests Jacqueline suffered prolonged physical abuse and malnourishment. Her remains were found in a state of advanced decomposition.
That Jacqueline likely died in the fall of 2024.
Farmington Police Chief Paul Melanson.
It is also believed that following her death, Jacqueline's body was kept in the family's basement.
Mother Carla Garcia is held on $5 million bond, facing charges including murder with special circumstances. Police are searching for Carla's boyfriend, Jonathan Nanita, accused of murder and evidence tampering. The girl's aunt, Jacqueline Garcia, is held on $1 million bond, charged with cruelty to a person under 19. Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
New Britain Mayor Aaron Stewart says DCF was in contact with the family. The girl was homeschooled. There were no calls to police about a missing person. President Trump says a long and painful nightmare is finally over. Hamas and Israel released hostages and prisoners. The president in Egypt for a summit. Correspondent Nancy Cortez.
He's going to be meeting with dozens of world leaders who have flown here from all around the globe with the same mission to try to hammer out the details of this peace plan to ensure that the ceasefire holds and that there is an end to the war, an official end to the war in sight. And in order to do that, they really need to figure out some very key details of this timeline.
Prior to the summit, the president addressed Israeli lawmakers.
We have done the impossible and brought our hostages home.
Those living along Connecticut's shoreline kept an eye on the effect wrought by the powerful nor'easter that raked much of the eastern seaboard. In Milford, Steve O'Connell lives near Walnut Beach.
The first year that we were here, we were a bit scared because the house shakes a bit, but we've gotten used to it.
Audio from WFSB. Some minor street flooding, but no serious damage has been reported. Eversource was kept busy with thousands of its customers in its coverage area reporting outages. Last check, as of 5, Eversource had about 6,400 of its customers offline. A crash Saturday afternoon in Sharon has left a teenager dead, 2 adults injured. 17-year-old Shay Cassidy Teddy died when the vehicle he was a passenger in went off Route 41 on Saturday and hit a tree. Police are still investigating. AAA's out with some tips on getting your vehicle ready for the cold winter months to come. Greater Hartford spokeswoman Tracy Noble.
And those older cars increase the risk of breakdown. So AAA just wants everybody to be prepared for the winter ahead by doing some preventative maintenance that could, a little money now can save a whole lot of money down the line.
As she says, now's the time to get new tires. The tread is running low. Also make sure fluids like oil, brake and power steering fluid, and windshield washer fluid are topped off or changed as need be. Bounce back for the markets this Columbus Day following a late week sell-off. Jason Brooks has the recap.
Stocks snapped back into positive territory after President Trump de-escalated trade tensions with China, posting on Truth Social that everything's fine with China and that the U.S. doesn't want to hurt China. The president threatened 100% tariffs on China Friday, prompting the biggest market sell-off in 6 months. NVIDIA and Google led the tech sector, while Best Buy and Nike paced consumer stocks higher. The Dow jumped 588 points to 46,067. The NASDAQ surged higher by 490 to 22,694, and the S&P added 102 points to 6654. Jason Brooks, CBS News.
And for these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Here at ALO, we believe hearing main drain problems shouldn't cost
Yes,
us.
sir.
That's why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO when you call, click, or text today and say, hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. HIC 628926, P10277688, S10413487, D10401465, S3308699, SM3004646, E1185643.
Hi, Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. Taxes don't pay a nickel more than you're supposed to, especially getting close to retirement or in retirement. Call or text the word taxes to request your free copy of our Tax Explorer Guide, 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word taxes, 705-1232. Don't pay an extra nickel in taxes.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's do it. It's Hollywood News with your correspondent, Reese on the Radio. All the glitz and all the glamour. It's Hollywood News. So, over the weekend, I went to go see two films. Of course, as I told you, I was going to go see that film called Soul on Fire, a story about a young man, 9 years old, who got 100% of his body set on fire. I was not expecting what I saw in this film. Two things that I did not expect. One, I did not know that the young man, it's based on a true story, Soul on Fire. I did not know it was based on a true story. And when I found out it was based on a true story, I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know why the young man was burned in 100% of his body. I found out in the film that he was playing with fire. He set a piece of cardboard on fire, put it down in his garage, and then poured a tank of gasoline on it to when it exploded. And boom, I mean, literally through his body, he got up and walked out and then set the rest of the house on fire. And then talks about his life growing up and, you know, how he became a motivational speaker and a whole bunch of things. So, it just follows his life. Now, the acting in this film was god-awful. It was bad. It was just bad. And it was very, very campy, but it was worth watching. When we come back, I'll explain to you why I thought it had some really, really good messaging on it, and I don't believe in mistakes. I'll tell you that. But the other movie that I saw, I'm going to talk about it on the other side of Weather and Traffic, was another true story called Roof Man with Channing Tatum. I can't wait to tell you about that movie, so stand by for that. If you're looking to go to the theaters or if you're looking to stream something, I'll tell you about both of those when we come back, so stand by. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into the Hartford area right now, look for some slow traffic on the southbound side of I-91. A little tight 33 down to 32 A&B. You'll slow 91 south again between 21 and 20. If you're on the northbound side of 91, look out for an accident on the left shoulder. Looks like a vehicle on the left shoulder between 23 and 24 in Rocky Hill. After that, moves well up into Hartford. Westbound side of 84, just a little tight as you move into the Hartford Tunnel. If you're eastbound 84, that looks good now. Farmington out into Vernon. 84 westbound in New Britain, some slow traffic 36 to 33 in the 72 interchange in Plainville. Westbound 84 Waterbury sluggish 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. 84 eastbound a little slow by exit 18 in Waterbury. If you are on the northbound side of the Parkway in Meriden, look for some slow traffic now as you move between exit 64A and 64B through the construction. 91 southbound delays 19 to 17 in Meriden. It looks good too eastbound into Glastonbury. Middletown's okay, 9 in the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling southbound on the Parkway, delays 53 in Hamden into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound delays 46 to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples.
Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $125 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. NC 11-1. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
WTIC weather.
The rest of this afternoon, windy areas of rain from our tropical rainstorm, wet roads, lower visibility may lead to some travel disruptions and a high of 56. Some rain again tonight from the tropical rainstorm and a low 51. A breezy day tomorrow with areas of drizzle early on, otherwise mostly cloudy and a high of 60. Becoming clear tomorrow night and a low of 50. Sunshine, some clouds on Wednesday, a breezy afternoon and a high of 63. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Picture this. You're eating good food, enjoying a cocktail, and losing weight. That's Awaken 180, a program that fits into your lifestyle with coaches who support you every step of the way. Visit awaken180weightloss.com to kickstart your transformation.
We know that you want the best for your child. That's why you can trust our expert pediatric dentists here at Columbia Dental, who are trained to meet and handle your child's unique dental needs. Call Columbia Dental at 860-645-0111.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You're listening to Leaf and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody. Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off.
Here we go.
/deal. See representative for warranty details.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
So I went to the movies this weekend, and I went to go see two films. Friday night, I went to go see Soul on Fire, which, again, like I said, was absolutely boring. But there were, I mean, it was interesting enough to sit through the entire film. I wouldn't have panned it. It had some really, really ridiculous plot lines, and it seemed all over the place, but it was an overall watchable movie. But I will say this, and I said this before, that one of the reasons why I went to go see the film Soul on Fire was because two of the lines in the film was, if you can make the most of the life that you have and not pay attention to the life you think you should have had, you figured it out. And I thought that was a great line. But the second line in the film didn't happen until I watched the film. And that one was the best line of the movie. And it again, like I said, I love movie lines, and that's the reason why I go, is because you kind of learn something. You sort of figure out your own situation based upon some scripted line in the film. And this was the line that got me. And it said that it was talking about the young man, John O'Leary, who's the subject of the movie. His father says to him that you're running away from a life, or running away from a past that stopped chasing you. And I thought that was, wow, that was such blown away. I told my wife when I got home about that line, and she got the chills about it, because it sort of talks about the film and the people that were in his life, and he had done something that he had regretted as it relates to one of the men who stood by him and not visiting him before he died. But you have to watch the film in order to get it. But I want to talk about Roofman before I get to the phones. So Roofman is a story about this criminal, and his name is Jeffrey Manchester. And this guy was an absolute horrible thief. And I say that because this guy robbed a lot of places. And he robbed McDonald's. He was an employee at McDonald's. I'm reading some of his background, which I made sure I did not read until after I watched the movie, because then I could, I didn't want to go in there with the actual story and then come out and say, oh, you guys didn't cover that. I just wanted to watch the movie without that bias and then, sort of realize what they left out after the fact. And then I can be honest about what I saw. One, I love this movie. Channing Tatum, what's her name? Gosh, why am I forgetting her name? It's in here. And now I've forgotten her name. Anyway, they were absolutely fantastic in the movie. And the story is about this guy who robbed all of these McDonald's. And then at one point, he goes to prison after he's busted. And he escapes. And he ends up living at a Toys R Us for a little while. But then he escapes the Toys R Us when things get hairy, and he ends up at a neighborhood Circuit City, which doesn't appear in the movie. That's where he spent most of his time. But in the movie, they have him spending all the time in a Toys R Us. It was really a Circuit City where he was staying. And he stays in the Circuit City. Ironically, when all hell breaks loose, the reason why they figured out he was the person hiding inside the Circuit City under a stairwell is that they found one of his fingerprints. He's on the lam. They can't find him. They find one of his fingerprints, ironically, on a DVD of Leonardo DiCaprio's Catch Me If You Can. There are no coincidences. I don't care what anybody says. There just are none. But this movie is so good. Why? It is not because you root for the bad guy. Because Jeffrey Manchester is a bad guy. He is. But he was brilliant in this sense. What made this guy so popular, and the reason why they did this movie about him, was because he was a criminal with a conscience for some odd reason. And every person he robbed, especially the McDonald's, he was always considerate and kind to the people he was robbing. Like, the story was really like about the 45 McDonald's that he's robbed. He would come in to the McDonald's and get the early morning staff to go into the freezer. And there was one particular case where one of the guys he puts into the freezer doesn't have a coat. And Jeffrey Manchester gives the guy his own coat. So everyone who said anything about this guy always said nice things about him. He was always nice. He was always cordial. He was always kind and considerate. That's what everybody said about this guy. So he seems like a hapless knucklehead, which he appears to be. But Channing Tatum plays him well, remarkably well. This is the only movie I can honestly say that I saw where I actually didn't see the actor and I could actually immerse myself in the storyline. And it was good. It was really, really good from beginning to end. You might want to wait to go see it when it comes out on streaming if you don't want to go to the movies. I know a lot of you guys don't go to the movies anymore. I don't want to tell you go to the theaters to go watch it. I would suggest go see it on a Sunday at a matinee. It's relatively cheaper. I hate to put it that way, but I think you should watch this film because it is entertaining from beginning to end. I really, really love this movie, and I think it's worth watching. Soul on Fire, not so much. It's an inspirational story, but not, it was kind of weak. It fell flat. So I just wanted to say that. Joe's in New Hampshire. What's going on, Wall Street?
Hi. I have a couple comments. Hillary Clinton, she's starting to say a few nice things. You know why? The investigations, Comey, everything's going to lead to her eventually, and she doesn't want to have to face justice. Trump might just let her go.
You think?
I think that explains her kind words, let's say.
Do you think that it's reached that tipping point where everyone who they think Trump is going to go after, they're going to go after?
I think it's going to, the evidence will lead them, to be somebody ratting out somebody else to save themselves. And how far up it goes, it could go as high as Barack Obama, really. And I'm not saying maybe. He is at the top of this whole thing. Whether it gets that far, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it goes that far either, but you know what? I would still bring him into a grand jury. Let me play Lindsey Graham for you. He was on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker. Here's what he said. Hold on.
Do you think that crosses a line between the Justice Department being independent from the executive branch?
I think our Justice Department in the hands of Biden crossed every line there is to cross. I think within 3 days of announcing he was going to run for president in 2024, he did that in 2022.
But what about Trump?
He had
But Senator,
91
what about
indictments.
Trump? What about?
Yeah. Now, I think the grand jury is going to take care of this, but you didn't care any about this. You didn't care that Letitia James made up charges that no one's ever faced.
But Senator
Alvin
Biden
Bragg
never
made up
publicly
charges no
called
one
for
ever
Trump to
faced.
be indicted.
He had 90. Biden regretted that they didn't do it before the election. Jack Smith surveilled my phone records and 8 other senators. Jack Smith introduced his brief against Trump October the 24th before the 2024 election, violating every protocol just to politicize the election.
The next line, Joe, is the best line of them all. And I cannot believe I'm agreeing with Lindsey Grahamnesty in this line.
So this may bother you that people are being held accountable. It doesn't bother me one damn bit.
I agree with him. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Well, I love that back in the 2016 campaign early on when Donald Trump gave out Lindsey Graham's cell phone number. And Lindsey Graham took his cell phone and threw it against the wall and broke it like Hillary Clinton broke her cell phone.
Yeah, he made a whole video out of bashing the phone.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Hey, another thing I wanted to say about that poor 12-year-old girl, you've brought attention to.
Yeah.
There is no doubt whatsoever that this laid-back, hands-off has to do with the illegal aliens in Connecticut, because if you were to go after this in a normal way, there'd be so many people that would need to be deported.
That's exactly right. They're keeping, again, not bringing any attention to this is because they're assuming that it's going to bring light to illegals in the city, in New Britain or Connecticut overall. That kind of heinous crime is going to bring the unwanted attention to the immigrant community. That's what they're worried about.
And I'm going to say right now, for the past 3-4 elections, the Republicans would come a lot, even though so many people have moved out of the state like me that don't vote, for Republican or independents anymore. Mm-hmm. That's a big gap now. But the Democrats would get a lot less votes if the illegals were all gone, because they vote with their driver's licenses. Mm-hmm. And when you go back to that 2020 election, as time drags on, more and more obvious that Biden did not get 81 million votes.
Hell no.
And the mail-in ballots, and it's going to come out that this was a plan with the help of communist China, with the virus being let out. They knew they let the virus out. There'd be, Panama, and millions of people died because of this. I mean, this is how evil it is, and people should be brought to justice, including
you know what?
Dr.
But Joe, it ain't over. Listen to me. It ain't over yet. I know people want expedience when it comes to that stuff, but I tell everybody, we're not even in the first year yet. We got plenty of time to go.
Well, the plan was communist China hated Trump. He was holding them to account, with the tariffs, back then, and all the accountability. So they wanted Trump out. So let the virus out. And, the Democrats, this was all a collusion thing. It might go back to Comey and the CIA. I mean, this is big stuff. But the Chinese let the virus out. The Democrats knew, okay, the virus comes out. People are dying all over the place. They're going to close everything down. And we're going to have to use mail-in ballots. And there were extra millions of mail-in ballots that were released to the public.
I'm not going to say, let me stop you, Joe. I cannot say, I do believe this. I don't think that one thing led to the other. Like, in other words, that was sort of like the plandemic, which a lot of people have referred to. What I do believe is the old Rahm Emanuel adage, never let a crisis go to waste. That's what I believe, that as far as the election was concerned, was taking advantage of that in order to ensure that, one, Donald Trump was held accountable, and two, to ensure that Joe Biden won.
Yeah, Reese, I really respect you. You do your homework, and I agree with you on a lot of stuff. But I really think on this one point, there was more collusion in advance than you're willing to.
Hey, I've
say
been
right
known
now.
to be proven.
I disagree with that.
I've been known to be proven wrong seldomly, but I don't. But we'll know. Thank you.
Time will unravel.
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And like I said, I'm patient.
One last thing. Can I get this in?
Real quick.
October 31st, the auction in Rhode Island, the Conjuring Home.
Get out of here. Goodbye, Joe. No more. Bob is in Walcott. Hello, Bob.
Hey, I was just going back to you talking about like wonderful quotes from movies.
Yes.
Have you ever seen the movie Falling Down?
That is the Michael Douglas film where he's a defense contractor of some sort and he gets fired?
Yeah.
What's the line?
When he goes into a fast food restaurant.
Yes.
And he orders his lunch. And he opens up the sandwich and he goes back up to the counter. He says, "You see that picture up there of this sandwich?" And then he holds up this squished piece of mess. Says, "What's wrong with this picture?"
That's actually, it's still, you know what? It's crazy as it is. It's still one of my biggest complaints when I go to a fast food restaurant. It's still, it bothers me every time that I can't get the thing that's in the picture. It drives me nuts.
It's mine too. That movie was like both tragic and funny at the same time.
It was, but let me ask you something about that film, because it appears you like it. Would you call that movie an anti-hero movie because I almost feel like a lot of from the beginning to the end, almost to the end, the climactic ending of that film, I'm rooting for Michael Douglas because he's been shafted all of his life and he's finally reacting to it. And then it gets to the end, and at that point, you can no longer root for him, right? It's over at that point because all he wants to do is just to get home, and everyone is rejecting him in his life, and you kind of feel for him the whole movie. And then at the end, you can't help but kind of despise the guy.
Well, no, I didn't despise him at the end. I still felt bad for him.
Did you? I mean, kidnapping the kid will always be the one that just like, that one's not good. That scene's just not good.
But his heart was always in the right place.
Yeah, I think that movie is about being fed up and doing things the right way and having the rug pulled from under you over and over and over again. And a guy who you would normally consider mild-mannered, who had enough. And that was what that movie was about. I think it really expressed what a lot of people are going through today.
Well, I think that's where everybody should be going when they get to that point, but not to get to the point of getting...
Yeah. Not
at the point of the end of that movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
my favorite part of that is watching the transformation of Michael Douglas's character in the in the traffic jam, because that's where it happens. That's when the synapse.
You can't park that car here. I'm not parking it. I'm abandoning it. Just walked away.
Thank you, Bob. I
They
appreciate
tried to
you.
mug him for his briefcase.
Yeah.
And he kicked their ass.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you forgot my briefcase.
That's the best. Thank you, man. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford, southbound side of 91, look for delays from 33 Jennings Road down to 32 A and B, and then some slow traffic as you move between exit 22 and exit 21 in Cromwell. We have an accident there reported between 21 and 20, the left lane blocked there, so look out for that. If you are traveling on the northbound side of 91, that moves well Cromwell through downtown up into Winter. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound just losing a little speed. 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 looking good. 2 eastbounds in good shape. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. Westbound 84 in Cheshire slowing 26 up to the Mixmaster in Waterbury. And if you're traveling southbound on the Parkway, you've got delays as you move down from exit 53 in Hamden down into the West Rock Tunnel. Northbound on the Parkway slows 46 up into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The remainder of this afternoon, windy with periods of rain from our tropical rainstorm. Wet roads and lower visibility could lead to some travel disruptions and a high of 56. Tonight, some rain from the tropical rainstorm and a low 51, and a breezy day tomorrow, mainly in the morning, then areas of drizzle early on also. Otherwise, plenty of clouds and a high of 60. Becoming clear tomorrow night, low of 50, and we'll see sunshine return on Wednesday, breezy with a high of 63. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Arrests have been made in connection with the discovery last week of the human remains of a 12-year-old girl found in a container in back of an abandoned building in New Britain. Under arrest are Jacqueline Torres' mother and her aunt. In addition, the mother's boyfriend is being sought. Police say Jacqueline likely died last fall and her body moved from Farmington, where the family lived prior. History made in the Middle East today. President Trump was in Egypt to sign an historic accord between Israel and Hamas. Earlier, Trump addressed the Israeli parliament after the 20 remaining Israeli hostages were released. In turn, Israel is to free thousands of Palestinian prisoners. What a mess in the weather department today. Lots of wind, lots of rain, some gusts upwards of 40, 50 miles an hour. Eversource still reporting a few thousand of its customers offline. In Meriden, police are asking for the public's help in trying to identify a pair of armed robbery suspects. They say the 4 robberies, 2 of gas stations, 2 of pizza restaurants, were committed between October 8th and the 11th. They're asking anyone with any information to give them a call. We have surveillance stills on our website, WTIC.com. A 17-year-old is dead and 2 adults seriously injured after a vehicle crashed into a house over the weekend in the town of Sharon. Police say a driver heading north on Armenia Union Road hit a tree and the home Saturday afternoon. Teen was pronounced dead at the scene. Another passenger was seriously injured. And police in Hartford are investigating a Sunday night shooting. They say they got the call to an area near 305 Enfield Street Sunday night just before 10. A 17-year-old was found with non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. Wall Street Dow finished up 587 points today. NASDAQ gained 490, and the S&P was up 102. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
We were using a managed service provider, MSP.
That's Pete Sweeney, Director of Operations at United Tool and Die Company in West Hartford. His computer services MSP became so costly, there was nothing left for needed system upgrades. He called Tab Computer Systems.
What they included in their monthly cost per user, the services that they offered were right where we needed it to be.
Call Tab, an ASP, actual service provider, 1-888-TAB, the numeral 4, HELP, or visit tabinc.com. Technologies advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
Fall is here, and the bees are buzzing. Keep your home cozy with a heating tune-up from Call the Bee. Your system will thank you when the cold nights roll in. Need something bigger? We've got you covered with free estimates on HVAC replacements and financing options to make upgrading easy. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.B.com to schedule. Call the Bee Connecticut. Plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical professionals. We'll be there, and we'll be fair.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. Wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
I still don't know what had happened was.
That's right. It's time for What Had Happened Was on WTIC News Talk 1080, brought to you by the Odyssey app. If you'd like to, what I'm going to do is, of course, you can go download the Odyssey app. You can go to reasonoradio.com or you can go to WTIC.com to check out the opening monologue, which was, I guess Trump was right about everything. But it is a 42-point reference to all the things that Trump said, the media said was untrue or were lies and turned out to be true. There are 42 of them. And they come from the first administration and this one. Now, someone said, hey, can you post this? I will. I will make sure it is posted today. If it's not on my Facebook page, well, it'll be on my Facebook page. It'll definitely be on my X page. And I will see if I can get it on the website because I have this. I just printed it out and I have the whole list of those things. So you will be able to read it later on today. So if you want to check out the beginning of the show, if you want to hear these yourself, you just got to download the Odyssey app and go back and check it out as well. When we come back, I'm going to see if there are any other phone calls. We'll welcome you to the week. Two things I want to play. Useful Idiots Explained. Maria Corina Machado, this is the woman who did win the Nobel Peace Prize. What she said to Maria Bartiromo about Donald Trump and that Peace Prize. And I want to play this other piece. A black woman explains what many in the state of Connecticut have been complaining about, and that is the housing crisis. When you hear this woman explain it, you will not believe it. Like, no one's ever mentioned it, even myself. And when she said it, I went, yeah, that's a really good point. So I'll play that for you on the other side of the break. On tomorrow's program, I'm going to, there are two stories that the Connecticut Sentinel has that I want to get to the bottom of. And these stories are really, really incredible, to say the least. But I'll just save them for tomorrow. Also, the New York Times accidentally made the case against Letitia James in their own reporting. And what we found out in the grand jury testimony will blow your mind. Because Letitia James, I'll put it this way, if she's not found guilty of mortgage fraud, I'll tell you, I may lose it. Because according to the grand jury, you'll never guess who sunk her. And it ain't the president. It isn't even Letitia James. It's her own tenant. It's her own tenant. We'll get that breakdown tomorrow. So stand by for that. Oh, and Obamacare. Everybody's talking about the government shutdown. I'm going to give you a breakdown of Obamacare that you need to know. And I think you're going to love that. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center, and I believe that it's a little windy out there, Mark, is it?
You know what? I'm not sure. Right, at least I'm in the Hartford area right now. It's not that windy here. Okay. I'm sure maybe more wind on the shoreline, but I don't think it got as windy as they expected around here. That's just my best guess. I'm not a meteorologist, but I can tell you the traffic in south of 91 is a little slow at 32A and B. South of downtown is a little tight by exit 28. You've got delays again as you move down in toward Cromwell. We had an accident between exit 22 and 21 that was reported there. So right now, delays are back to just about exit 23 West Street and Rocky Hill. And then another accident on the southbound side of I-91 in Wallingford between exit 14 and 13. They're saying that 3 through lanes are blocked, so you're only getting by on the shoulder right now. If you are traveling northbound 91, that looks good. Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84, tapping the brakes both the bridge. And again, 46 out to 45. Flatbush 84 eastbound's losing a little speed, approaching 48 into the tunnel. Looks good. 291 through 84 east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay into Glastonbury. Quiet Middletown. 84 westbound in Waterbury slowing 25 up to the Mixmaster. Southbound on the Parkway, you've got delays coming down from exit 50 into the West Rock Tunnel, and 95 South New Haven slowing 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The rest of this afternoon, windy areas of rain from our tropical rainstorm, wet roads, lower visibility may lead to some travel disruptions and a high of 56. Some rain again tonight from the tropical rainstorm and a low 51. A breezy day tomorrow with areas of drizzle early on, otherwise mostly cloudy and a high of 60. Becoming clear tomorrow night and a low of 50. Sunshine, some clouds on Wednesday, a breezy afternoon, and a high of 63. This is meteorologist Scott Homan in the WTIC Weather Center.
Looking to retire with confidence? Get the answers you need. Tune in to Wall Street Sweeper with Russ Hackman. Sunday mornings at 9:30 on NewsTalk WTIC AM. Strategies, insights, and smart retirement talk. Don't miss it.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
Ugh, dead battery.
Head to Batteries Plus. Our experts will set you up with a new car battery. Most are installed in under 20 minutes.
That was fast.
Upgrade with a premier install for longer battery life. Batteries Plus, the experts in charge.
Fall is a great time to buy a new mattress.
Actually, any time is great, especially when they're on sale.
Hi, it's Michael.
And Christine.
From Connecticut Mattress.
Come in now and save hundreds on brand name mattresses.
And say goodbye to aches and pains.
Sleep better.
Feel better.
With Connecticut Mattress.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour, so the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
1 minute. Video ads about the IRS, they tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, folks, it is almost a wrap for us to get up out of here. If you want to opine on the show, you can always do that by just calling 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Ned asks, so if you need a passport to visit another country, then why don't you need one to come into the United States? I couldn't agree more, Ned. That's a great point. It's a great point. Matty O had a question that was in the chat room. Let me see if I can address this because I may have missed it. He says, Reese, do you think you can answer something honestly for me? just pretend for a minute that you were born outside of the country and you still had your keen mind. What would your argument be for the other side of the coin? Just a thought experiment. So what am I saying the other side? I'm assuming for liberals, maybe I'm not understanding what the question is. I'm going to have to call him and ask him what he means. But I don't think I would, if I had my mind, I would come and I came to the United States. It would probably be for the reasons that I already believe in the United States as this country for which it stands. Like, I don't think that I would be coming to the United States with a leftist ideology hell-bent on destroying it, if that makes sense. That's just where I would be. Tomorrow, also on the show, I have this list to consider. John Adams, Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and Richard Nixon. What do they all have in common? Again, John Adams, Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and Richard Nixon. What do all of them have in common? 2 Democrats, 1 Federalist, and 1 Republican. What do they all have in common? We'll talk about that tomorrow. But let me play this. Maria Corina Machado. She was asked by Maria Bartiromo about the Nobel Peace Prize and Donald Trump not getting it. Here's what she had to say. Now, you know, she sent out an X post supporting Donald Trump, saying that, you know, he deserved it. She takes the honor. I forget how she phrased it, but in essence, she dedicated it to him and the Venezuelan people. Here's what she said in her first interview.
And they decided to dedicate it to President Trump because he deserves it. Because not only has he been involved in only a few months in solving 8 wars, but his actions have been decisive to have Venezuela now at a threshold of freedom after 26 years of tyranny that have destroyed the lives of millions of Venezuela, destabilized the region, and undermined the institutions in the United States, because having Venezuela as a safe haven of the enemies of the United States and using our territory and our resources to hurt the American people and American institutions is certainly a threat to the national security of the United States and the security of the hemisphere. But President Trump has been very clear, courageous in terms of dismantling this criminal structure. And on behalf of the Venezuelan people, I reaffirmed our gratitude and our commitment to this cause for the whole America. So I insist he deserves it.
So that's what she had to say. And people, of course, avoided it like the plague. But, you know, she's a gracious woman. And I'm actually kind of happy that she said something about it. At least she came out and did something more than an X post. Now, you guys have probably heard Governor Lamont talk a lot about affordability as of late. But one of the things that many in Connecticut talk about is housing and the lack thereof. Josh Elliott, candidate for governor, trying to unseat Governor Lamont, constantly talks about how there isn't enough housing in the state. And I listened to this black woman out of Chicago, and she completely blew my mind because I didn't even know how I did not make the connection. Nor did anyone else, for that matter.
So I will tell you right now, I'm a person that lives on the south side of Chicago, and the migrants that have come in, at one point, they were coming in, we were feeling very sorry for them because they came in at a time where the weather was cold. So we're seeing all these people in tents and all this and that. But then we find out that they're getting $15,000 in food stamps, $5,000 in cash. I work for a company, which I will not say, that they're able to come in and they're able to get internet and Wi-Fi and all of this for free because guess what? The government are paying their rent for 2 years. Why is the government paying people that came from another country rent for 2 years?
That's a fair question. Why are they doing it? But then she made the connection that all of us should have made. Remember, what are they telling us? We don't have enough housing.
Can we explain that? Because it's a housing crisis right now where there's multiple homeless people on the streets right now that I could follow and show you homeless people that's been living on the streets. So what makes the migrants better from coming to another country that they get all of this?
Yeah. I mean, how do you not ask? I mean, it sounds like a housing crisis of our own doing. Is it not? How's it not? If those folks weren't here, would we have a housing problem? If they, I don't see how we would. I don't see how we would. I thought this audio was interesting too. Remember when I played Chris Murphy on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, talking about how we can't expect people to make sacrifices if we're not willing to make sacrifices ourselves, he said. And he also said that we needed not tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of people in the street. Like on the 18th of this month for the No Kings rally. Yeah. Well, if you're wondering why all of it is, I think this gentleman explains it well. He's talking to a couple of college students about useful idiots.
But to go back to your point about leftist violence, you have to understand this is not something new. This is not something that's randomly happening. It happened in China, it happened in Vietnam, it happened in Cuba, which I'm Cuban. So every single time the leftists take over, what do they want? Revolution. To what? Break down the status quo. How do they do that? Not through peace. They do it through revolution. Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, Pol Pot, Mao Zedong, Stalin. Every single time, that's how they do it. And you know who they use? All of you. They use the university students. They use leftists. The authoritarians, the strongmen, convince the leftists to fight for them.
We need them to be out on the streets, not with hundreds, not with thousands or tens of thousands of people, but with hundreds of thousands of people.
It happened in Iran where the Ayatollah took over. It happened in Cuba with Castro. They get the leftists to disrupt and cause destabilization. Once they take power, they get rid of all of the leftists that help them get in power. Mao Zedong created the Red Guard. When he got in power, he said, all universities canceled. I want you to get my book. It's called The Little Red Book. Put it in your pocket and go around. And if any teacher has spoken out against me, I want you to tell the communist commissar we're going to arrest them and kill them. They did that. The army didn't step in. They allowed the protesters and the revolutionaries to do what they want. You know what Mao did after he got power? He said, I don't need any more destabilization. He sent them out into the field to work, and 9 million of them died. That's what he's done. The Shah did it, the same thing to the leftists. The leftists are always, we call them the useful idiots. Not all of them, but the ones who are revolutionary. They are used to destabilize. They go after the young people in universities every single time, hundreds and hundreds of years. This is the same thing happening over again. This is not new. What you're experiencing is not new. It's just new to you. It's new to our age.
I thought that was a really, really useful piece of info. And more young kids need to hear it. And they're all eager to be a part of that fray. They all want to be seen as somebody who's making a change. And their friends tell them, come on out of here. We're changing things. Join our rally. They all do. It's real easy, especially when it's applied to revolution. It's a real good buzzword with the kids. They're excited about that. Fighting the oligarchy. We get to fight against the oligarchy? What's that mean exactly? It means the rich, folks. It means the rich. Oh, fight against the rich? I hate the rich. Why do you hate the rich? Because I'm poor. It's usually the reason. It's real simple. It's not well thought out. But, it's easy. It's an easy lure. I had to talk to the kid the past weekend, talking about how much he hates money. That's the thing I'll never understand about these kids. The ones who hate money. What is that? And I tried to get to the bottom of it. Like, what do you mean you hate money? And he said, because I think people want it so much. Yeah? What do they want it for? And he has this belief that wanting money means that you only want it for bad things. And what does he say are bad things? The want itself. Wanting a car, wanting a home. That those things in and of itself are selfish. It's funny because I got to deal with the kid every day doing what? Giving his money away. Oh, you know what? Let me ask. Roland, your kid is roughly about the same age as the boy. How would you deal with this? And I'm going to say this because, again, I kind of feel like you're a traditional black dad. And I'm sorry, but I just do. And I think I'm a little more mainstream. I don't have any of the stereotypes, but I want to give you a scenario with your daughter. Now, imagine you provide a credit card for your daughter.
She already has one.
She already has one. Okay, fine. And you're not as, let's just say, limited on the credit card. If she abuses it, you don't really punish her by taking it away. You say things like, hey, I'm going to need you to be a little more responsible. But then you find out having a conversation with your daughter that she's paying for other kids' meals because she expresses to you that having it and knowing that others don't, she should share the wealth because she is so fortunate. How would you deal with that?
It depends on the kids that she's, obviously, if it's kids that's less fortunate that she's taking care of, we're going to have a talk and make a budget for that.
Real? So you would encourage it with a limit?
With a limit, exactly.
Okay.
Not just because technically we're giving her that money.
Right.
So you got to put that on the budget.
Okay. So you wouldn't discourage it?
No, because I was actually one of those kids that grew up and didn't have, and one of my closest friends always used to look out for me. So, so I wouldn't discourage that because I was able to survive off of that for during my high school years till I got a job.
Okay. All right, maybe I'm just cheap then. Oh, no. Listen.
But that's
I needed you to describe that to me. I needed you to explain that to me because I'm looking at it from this thing that just goes, look, man, I almost feel like it discourages kids for doing for themselves because somebody's footing the bill for them. That's the way I'm looking at it. But I feel like, now you explain it. I'm just going, okay, fine. I guess I can understand that. There's a degree of that I would want that compassion from the boy. But there's another part of it that I'm not. I don't know. I have a
she
problem
would never
with.
say she don't care about money though. That'd be the furthest thing from her because she's always trying to make an extra buck.
Yeah, I mean, but
can I clean your car up clean your car out for some money? Can I sweep the floor? Can I clean?
So she's very industrious in that sense, right? Looking for ways to make money. Okay, because I'm looking at that in a way. I had this talk with him. I drove him to go get ice cream. And he was saying to me that, he sees his friends and some of them do not have the advantages that he has. And when he says the advantages, I look at it in the abstract. This is the most abstract thing that the boy has, if you really think about it. He has 4 active parents. He's got friends who don't have fathers in the homes. He has 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's got 2 dads and 2 moms. Both of them, the stepdad and stepmom. But in essence, he's got a wealth of people who take care of him.
Yeah.
And sort of cater to his needs as a child. And he sees these kids without, and he is just overwhelmed with wanting to help them. And in my head, I just go, you can't do that for everybody.
Yeah, not for everybody. You got to take you may have 1 or 2 close friends that you buy lunch for every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, I get
share your snacks with.
Your snacks.
Drop them $5 every now and again.
Yeah, maybe I'm looking at it different. Anyway, time for us to get up out of here. Welcome to your week, folks. We got a week full of programming. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. Mark Christopher's getting you home in the weather in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, sir.
Hey, good night, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound, look for some slow traffic, 33 down to 32 A and B. Southbound 91 after.
All right, good sir.
All right, boss man.
As you move,
we'll see you mañana.
Yeah, I got to queue up this because John he left for the whole 5 o'clock, so I've been queuing his pre-record. So.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, let me get it ready.
All right, you got it.
Lanes are blocked.
All right. Ciao, everybody. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for participating. Jeffrey, illegals are sucking up the housing and they're sucking up our water. They call it global warming. I don't think so. Couldn't be more right, Jeff. You guys have a wonderful night. I will see you mañana. Welcome to the week. Be good to each other now.